What's up and welcome back to the Section 10 podcast, episode 449, presented by Barstool Sports. It is the home of your soon-to-be 2022 World Series champion Boston Red Sox. My name is Jared Carrabis, and I am a certified G and a bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. And this right here, this is Coley Mick, and he's 7 foot tall, and you can't teach that. And this right here, this is Pat Light, and he had a 23 ERA with the Red Sox, and you can't teach that. Bada boom, realest guys in the room. Gary, how you doing?
What up, what up? Section 10 in the building.
In the motherfucking building. Presented by Coors Light.
Suck one.
Suck one. Coley has returned from Cuba, where he was. How long were you there for? 6 days, 7 days?
Couple days, yeah.
Couple days down in Cuba, and last episode, if you listen to the whole thing, Coley tried to deny any type of affiliation to the Boston Red Sox organization, which I think, he says he's unaffiliated, which is interesting to me because immediately after Coley travels to Cuba, the Red Sox sign 3 international prospects. 3. And I don't even know if any of them are from Cuba, but I feel like that's probably where, You just jump around island to island down there, Coley?
Some people do. Other people just get stationed. Like a team will have a guy dedicated to each island.
Okay. So you are affiliated with a team?
No.
Okay.
And it wasn't 3 international prospects. It was 3 top 50 international prospects.
Top 50. One of them was number 50, though, right?
Correct.
It still counts.
Certainly counts.
I mean, if you cross the finish line, but you shit your pants on the finish line and pass out, still crossed it.
Definitely.
You ever run a marathon, Pat?
Nope.
Okay. So what do you know about these guys, Coley, as the unaffiliated farm director of the Boston Red Sox, unpaid?
Yeah, again, as someone who unaffiliated, unofficial, unpaid, I kind of hate when 17-year-olds are given positions like they're shortstops, but they probably aren't.
Could be a center fielder.
Right, they're going to grow defensively. We see it with our current shortstop. Like, they're still trying to move him. I feel like everyone who gets drafted or signed is a shortstop. You're a shortstop or a pitcher, or if you're Casey Kelly, you're both. Like, those are the only 2 positions. So 2 of them are shortstops. The third is a catcher. Feel like he'll probably stick at catcher.
That's what they said about Bryce Harper.
No one actually said that about Bryce Harper. Everyone
People forget Bryce Harper
said he was gonna. Everyone said he was gonna move. No one thought he was gonna stick a catcher.
That's not true.
But I actually think he is gonna great. The catcher has my favorite name of the 3. I feel like he's got a good catcher name. Johanfran Garcia. Like, that's a guy I want to be. That's a guy I want to be pitching to.
You can tell he frames the shit out of that. What's the first name?
Johanfran.
Johanfran. Mm-hmm. I can honestly say I've never heard that name before.
Me neither.
I've heard of Johan, and I've heard of like a Fran, but I've never heard of a Johanfran.
Love it.
That's a big league name. You ever throw to a Johanfran before, Pat?
No, I have not.
I bet you're dying to, though.
Oh, I would love to.
Yeah. And that's the number 50?
No, he was number 34. Number 50 was another shortstop. But
what else did we get? Number 19?
Yeah, number 19, which is, I think it's Freely Encarnacion, who seems to just rake, which I love.
I can't wait to go back to these clips 8 years from now when Johanfran is catching the final out of the World Series.
Here's the thing, internet, like if you go back at SoxProspects.com, our pals have a great backlog of all the international signings. You talk about none of these guys panning out. Like it is extreme, which blows my mind when you look at the major leagues, and I understand there are only so many people to a roster. When you look at the major leagues, all 30 teams are littered with international free agents. Like almost exclusively, the best players in the league are international free agents.
I mean, we basically Yohan Moncada worked out, but they had to pay him like $80 million first. Like that was back before there was limitations on the spending for international free agents.
Well, that's also Cuba's always been different than the rest of the diaspora. Like Cuba.
That's interesting that you would know that.
There's the extradition, like the whole process. I mean, Yasiel Puig had to get in a fucking submarine. He tried to leave Cuba like 4 times, went 1 for 4. And he had to, like, his life story up to that point, he's kind of ruined it since. His life up to that point, just getting to the Dodgers would be, if someone put that in a script, you'd be like, no one's going to believe this. Like, the cartel had to smuggle him, I believe, to Mexico, if not Mexico, somewhere in Central America, via submarine, just so he could sign with the Dodgers. Like, what an incredible series of events. Imagine being I don't think I could do a submarine. Like, I'm the king of the skies. Everyone knows that. Submarine, that's tough. That's a tough scene.
I feel like you don't know that you're on a submarine when you're on a submarine.
I feel like you absolutely know you're on a submarine.
No. Not the submarines that I've been on. There's submarines that when you just take a look around, it's like, this is a definite submarine. But like there's also submarines where maybe the interior is designed in a way to make it look like you're maybe not in a submarine. You ever been in a submarine before, Pat?
Yeah, I'm quite familiar with the ones that make you feel like you're not in a submarine.
Right.
Yeah, the higher end ones.
Of course.
Yeah.
The Rolls Royce of submarines.
Exactly.
And yeah, those exist. And I feel like if you were in a submarine that kind of like looked like you were inside like Little House on the Prairie, you'd be fine.
Totally fine.
Yeah. I feel like most submarines that are getting made these days are submarines that have state-of-the-art interior decorators. Because they don't want people thinking that they're in submarines.
That's commonplace.
That helps promote morale when you're in the submarine. Perhaps getting smuggled from Cuba to Mexico in order to sign for millions of dollars to play Major League Baseball. I mean, that's not something that everyone's going to get to experience. You know?
No.
But Yasiel Puig did. And maybe one of these individuals, these young men, maybe one of them is the next, maybe not Yasiel Puig, but Yoenis Cespedes.
Yeah, Cespedes. I mean, I feel like one thing that pisses me off about the Red Sox is we sign an international, and like Japan's kind of like Cuba, they've got their own separate rules. But like we'll tap into an area, we'll go big on someone, and then they don't work out, or at least work out how we imagined, and then we kind of completely ignore that area. And that spans GMs, it spans decades. Like I feel like we got Daisuke. That was one of the biggest sports stories in the world that year. He was okay. Like he didn't reinvent pitching as it was promised. And then we've kind of just like ignored Japan up until really this offseason. Like we've brought in bullpen arms, but we certainly haven't gone after any of the top guys. Like it's reading about I'm blanking on the scout's name who was like at Shohei Ohtani's high school.
Oh yeah. I don't know who that
one
is.
of our longest tenured scouts. I don't even know if he's a scout technically. I think he's like player development. But
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he had tried to sign him. I think it was the previous year, or maybe straight out of high school. And then Shohei wanted to play in Japan for a couple of years, and then he signed with the Angels. It's like so infuriating to read stuff like that. Like, had we been a little more aggressive, could we convince him? Like, you never know. But like, we signed Moncada and fucking the pride of Pawtucket, and it's like I feel like we should have been in on Chapman. We should have been in on Cespedes as soon as he was coming over, and we just weren't.
The fact that there was a can't miss international superstar from Cuba, and I believe this is during a time where just the highest bid gets the player, and the fucking Oakland Athletics got him. That seems to me like there was some fuckery abound.
Well, he was only wasn't his first deal like 4 over 30 or 36 over 4? Like, it wasn't crazy. Or maybe that was Chapman. Neither that was my biggest problem with them. They were such drops in the bucket for a team like the Red Sox that like Moncada was way more expensive than both of them. So it's like, even if they don't work out,
I don't think Moncada was more expensive than Cespedes.
I thought he got like 80.
I thought Moncada got like
Rusney Castillo got 70.
Right, Rusney was. Maybe I'm mixing those two up.
Yeah, I think Moncada only got like 30 or 40.
Let's see. The internet has all of these answers.
They do. Yeah. I was around for that sign.
So he got
36 million for 4 years. 36 million for Cespedes.
31.5 signing bonus. So he got. Does that mean he gets that up front?
Yeah, he did. That's why, like, when Moncada first signed, he was not even. He didn't even play a single second of A-ball, and he was rolling up to spring training in these fucking $500,000 cars. And that's what players are kind of looking for. And like it's not the thing, but one of the things in the CBA is the draft, basically. How, like, if you're born in the United States, you basically get fucked. Like, you could have the same talent level as Yohan Moncada, but you're going to have to go to high school, play college ball, get drafted after your sophomore year, and maybe in the first round, get like a $1 million signing bonus somewhere in that neighborhood, and then play fucking 4 or 5 years of minor league ball to hopefully get called up to play 6 years in the big leagues to then maybe get $36 million over 4 years.
To be fair, though, this is where we were just talking about Bryce Harper. I think maybe the rest of the American-born players are just big fucking cowards, because Harper dropped out of high school.
He did.
Started playing junior college. What did he get, his GED? I feel like you'd have to do that to enroll in the junior college. Yeah. And he was 16 when he was doing that. I believe he set every JUCO home run record at the time, and then was taken first overall, quickly got to the big leagues, and quickly got paid. So I feel like as long as you're not again a big fucking coward, you could still do that here.
You know what Bryce Harper did a lot of things in order to get to the big leagues, and he did like the whole like GED to play JUCO to get drafted. He did a lot of things that age. You know what he didn't do?
What's that?
He did not suck down an ice cold Coors Light because he was not of age yet. He didn't turn 21 until he was in the big leagues. I think he got called up when he was 19?
That sounds right. I mean, what an electric time to be a Nats fan, bringing up Strasburg and Harper back to back.
I mean, that was probably one of the most memorable big league debuts I think ever. Yeah, he was 19 when he got called up in 2012.
Am I confusing him? Wasn't he Mormon raised as well? So yeah, he wouldn't have been sucking down Coors Lights, especially underage.
Yeah.
Could have said anything there. Joe would have been like, "Yep."
Yeah. Yeah.
Pat, what's your favorite thing about an ice cold, refreshing Coors Light from Golden, Colorado?
Honestly, other than the taste, which I'm a big Coors Light taste guy, I just love that they tell me on the cans that it's ready for my tasting privileges. I just, some of them you get, you go to these other beers and you can get a warm one by accident and it's just absolute shit. So that's probably my favorite thing.
Which is tough because the cans are metal for the most part, and metal kind of always feels cold. So without that tell, those cold activated blue mountains, like how would you know?
You don't.
Are you have you always been a cans over bottles guy? Like have you always been poor?
We do no, so we do bar industry talk. We do cans so people don't break glass bottles over people's heads.
Interesting. All right. And because you're in New Jersey, that's a big problem.
It happens.
That's upsetting. I've when I get a Coors Light, it's pretty much, well, they do have the aluminum bottles. What about those?
That's what we do. We do those. We do. That's what we use now. Yeah.
Okay. You could still give someone, I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
I should. You'd think I'd have this memorized by now. Coors Light, you can get it delivered through Drizly. People forget. If you don't want to go to the store, you can hit up Drizly. Jared throwing it to an ad and then not reading the ad is an all-time move.
I mean, you do the Coors Light ad.
Yeah, I'm usually ready for it as well.
I mean, you gotta always be ready for Coors Light.
I am. I'm ready for a CL at all times. Am I ready to read exactly what our good pals, our presenting sponsor, want me to say? I wasn't, and I'll be transparent about that. What I do like about Jake, though, is I don't have to go searching for the ads because he sends them with the link, which has been an improvement over the last guy. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged. It's literally made to chill. Next time I'm in Hoboken, Jared, we need to go to McSwilly's. This is what we need to do.
Swilbo's?
Yeah.
Swilbo's. Actually I'm
down to go to that.
Had a big Section 10 fan come to Green Rock this past weekend.
How tall was he?
5'9", 5'10".
So he was a small Section 10 fan.
Okay. Anyway, but yeah, he was there. We had a average sized man.
Very normal sized guy.
Yeah,
average size. Slightly below.
Slightly. Okay. But he refused to call McSwiggins anything besides McSwilly's or Swilbo's. So yeah, I was I told him, I was like, I went up to the table. I was like, I'm going to head over to McSwiggins. And then I had to correct myself immediately because he didn't know what I was talking about.
As if it were if they were so differently named. He was like, where? I don't know. Doesn't register in my brain. But yeah, I do feel like, we've been inside the Rock, love the Rock, but I need that Coors Light McSwills experience. Just swilling down a Coors Light in the swill zone. That's what I need. Coors Light is the one I choose when I need to unwind. So when you want to hit reset, reach for the beer that's made to chill. Get Coors Light in the new look delivered straight to your door. I do like that they say new look because you go to the store or you get your Coors Light through Drizly. I feel like they keep the same can for 6 months max. Like they're constantly giving you a new look, which I appreciate. Go to CoorsLight.com/rocket. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Suck one.
Absolutely suck one. Have to just... What the fuck is that white noise?
I hear it too.
Is that Jake?
It just started coming on.
Yeah, that's my computer.
God damn it, Jake. Wait. Was it?
No, I think I muted myself at the same time he did his fan.
Okay. All right. Got it. So the Red
Sox.
Sox.
It wasn't me because I have no idea what I would even try to fix. I have no clue what could have been emanating that sound in my room. Not a clue.
Yeah, you get a lot of stuff going on back there. We got Tim Wakefield on the podcast today. Check out the Section 10 YouTube channel. If you want to watch that interview, you'll obviously get it if you're listening on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcast. But it's always good to see Tim's face. You know? Yeah. Last week we had John Lester on the show. I don't know if you missed that, but John Lester announced his retirement, and then he came on Section 10 within mere hours. Mere hours. This got turned into a retirement home, Section 10.
My goal is to not be their first stop, but to eventually become their announcement spot where they.
Ooh,
that's what I'm striving for. Not just where the first place you come, you're where like their exit interview. I want this to be where they announce.
Okay, who do you think we have a good enough relationship with that would do that?
Julio
would do it. Brock.
I was gonna say, did Brock?
I feel like Brock would do it.
I would have done
it. Pat announced his retirement on another show, which was interesting.
Also about a year and change after I retired.
Did you ever make like an announcement that you retired? You just were like,
"Who the fuck do you care if I retire?" It was terrible. No.
Did you have to fill out paperwork?
No.
Interesting.
So it was just like you mentally retired.
Yeah, I was out.
Who did you tell that you retired when you really retired?
My parents and my brother and sister. I didn't have a girlfriend at the time. Yeah, I didn't have a girlfriend at the time.
You didn't tell Scott?
I didn't call Scott. No, I told like my rep with Scott that was happening, and then I told the guy that does the mental side of the game. I told him as well because I was close with him.
You're like, hey, I'm done. They were like, yeah, we know.
Yeah, I'm terrible.
That's that's too bad. We could have gotten our first retirement under our belt, but Pat already did it in two different places.
It actually in February, the reason I retired was because Scott was getting me indie ball stuff to be like, oh, you just get back out there, you go right back up. And then they said the indie ball team that is now the Somerset Patriots, which is I think AA for the Yankees now. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, they said, yeah, we have a tryout down in Florida. You should come to it. And I was like, that's not going to happen. So I was like, see ya. I'm not traveling more than 30 minutes for a tryout for an indie ball team. So
were they paying for the flight and stuff at least?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think they would. But
no. I was
would that have changed it if they were?
No. Either I'm coming to your stadium that's 30 minutes from me, or I'm not going to see you. I'm retiring, and I'm going to see if Jared will take me on his podcast.
I'm going to buy McSwilly's in Green Rock. By that point, did you already have Green Rock?
No. I already had the sushi restaurant, but I hadn't had Green Rock came in 2019, the following September. So actually, I turned down baseball, and then the next month is when I started negotiations for Green Rock.
Pat always likes to toss in this sushi restaurant. Like, we do not believe you own a sushi restaurant.
Yeah, like you never talk about the name of it. Like it's like Big Sam Sushi. Like you fucking never. The fact that you never shout it out leads us to believe that it's like you're just throwing
I've said
on
the name of the sushi restaurant on the podcast.
Big Sam's.
Big Sam's Sushi. Come on down for the buffet.
What I want from my sushi is it to be made by a guy named Sam.
Yeah.
And he's huge.
Yeah, he's huge.
Massive.
Humongous.
At least 5'9".
Yeah, he's pushing 4 bills, and he is the sushi master back there. That's great.
Yeah.
So, Green Rock, McSwilly's, and Big Sam Sushi.
How do fake ads work for technically real places that someone on the show owns, but we don't call them by their correct name?
I think it plays because we didn't do an ad read for it.
No, but I do think we're gonna make shirts.
Just like we just have like a big sushi shop, and then this is just big ass, morbidly obese guy with a tray of sushi.
What's funny is the sushi restaurant, the guy that owns it with me, he is like that right? Big Sam Sushi, the big sweaty guy, is so off the brand he's looking for.
I would hope so. No one in their right mind would be trying to make that exact establishment.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just so, I know how upset he'd be. I'd be like, hey, Danny, you have to sell these Big Sam Sushi.
Good times. Well, put it this way. I don't know what it's really called, but I would imagine he has sold 0 T-shirts for that establishment.
I assume he does not want to be in the T-shirt selling business.
No, I don't think. I mean, most places, once you get to a certain level of, I guess, notoriety within your community, you can sell merch.
No,
Kowloon has a fucking merch stand.
Oh, I know. Last time I left Kowloon, they gave me like 3 giant duffel bags full of like teddy bears, every single merch item they have. But it sounds like Pat's partner Sam wants a much more classier establishment. Like, I don't know that. I'm trying to think of the name of a nice restaurant, and I am coming up empty. Nobu. Like, I don't think you can get like a Nobu hat.
What's Nobu?
Does Tao sell stuff?
I don't know.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure if they don't have like a merch stand in their actual establishment, they probably have an online store.
Mm.
But Big Sam's, you can just get it right in the front. You walk in,
Right in the front,
right where you order. They get this big glass case. They get the menu up high, but then the glass case in front of you that has the register on it. Big Sam's merch.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's pretty good. I love Big Sam's.
When was the last time you were there?
For a guy that probably like November?
Members, yes, I think that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 16th comes to mind.
Yeah. Right around there.
Where did we get pizza from? Tony Baloney's.
Tony Baloney's.
Tony Baloney's. Tony B's.
Me and Jared were just walking around Hoboken like, we need to eat. And we just happened to, we pulled open Google Maps and we were just like, well, they have a place called Tony Baloney's. It appears our hands are tied. That's where we're eating.
I don't know where else we would go with Tony B's as an option.
It was good with Big Sam's.
Well, I don't know. Like, I feel like if you go to Big Sam's Sushi, you're sitting down for like a nice dinner, whereas we just needed something quick. Like Big Sam's is not like hey, we're just stopping in. Because Big Sam's gonna come out from the back and he's gonna give you a big old hug and you guys are gonna catch up. I mean, it's 30 minutes just with like the stop and chat.
Of course, talks to every customer.
That kind of time. Yes,
for 30 minutes. Still able to pump out sushi on time.
Right? Yeah. What's your favorite sushi from Big Sam's?
The Big Sam's specialty, which is the spicy tuna.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. They call it the spicy Sam.
Spicy tuna. Yeah, okay. The spicy Sam.
Of course.
Spicy Sam.
For the people at home that haven't been to Big Sam's, it's spicy tuna. Now that me and you are back in the dating game,
yeah,
the thing that's getting me to laugh more about this is you're saying it's Big Sam's is a date spot.
Yeah.
And imagine telling a nice young lady, hey, listen, we're going to head over to Big Sam's.
Big Sam's Sushi. Yeah. I mean, I would, you know what? You know what, Pat?
What?
Let's go on a double date to Big Sam's.
I would love nothing more than that.
Yeah. I would love to take a nice young lady to Big Sam's Sushi who maybe has a nice friend for my friend Pat. Just go on a nice little double date to Big Sam's Sushi.
Consider it done.
Same acronym as Barstool Sports.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, update, still don't have a contract.
18 days past the deadline.
18 days. I've been
18.
expired for 18 days.
18 big ones.
Yeah.
You know who else doesn't have a contract in Barstool Sports?
Pat Light.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're locked out.
Locked out.
There's a lockout going on.
I know.
18 days.
They offered me $15 million a year, with incentives, obviously, because that's not enough.
Right.
And I said, not until Jared signs.
Right. Well, I figured like that's a little low for you anyway.
Yeah, and then we'll have a separate discussion, but
yeah,
not right now.
Yeah,
Thank you, though.
Yeah, sure.
Respectfully.
That was like when Scott Boras was Dice K's agent, and there was some people were like, when the Red Sox ended up signing JD Drew, people were like, the Red Sox signed JD Drew because they're trying to butter up Scott to get Dice K to lean towards the Red Sox. I mean, if that's the case, it worked. They ended up with both of them and a championship. But oddly enough, JD Drew had way more to do with that World Series title in 2007 than Dice K did. Dice K was all right. I mean, I think he was like 15-12 that year with an ERA in the high fours. That was his rookie season. But JD Drew had that grand slam in Game 6. They ended up coming back, beating the Cleveland Indians, and they go to the World Series, and they absolutely throttle the Colorado Rockies, win a World Series. Remember Dice K, there was maybe his start against the Angels in the division series where he stunk, but like he stunk overall, but he stunk especially in the playoffs. And there's like some reporter that was like, yeah, he just sat in his locker in full uniform until like 3:00 in the morning, and like no one was there. Everyone left the clubhouse, and he just sat there in full shame.
That's tough.
You think that's a little intense?
3:00 in the morning, I would say, is a bit intense.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started having control issues, I did something similar, but it was for like an hour or two, and then I was like, I'm gonna head out. I just didn't want to be around people. So like I was doing it because like I went to the weight room because I know it was gonna be in there, and then BJ came in. He's like, "You good, bud?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And then I waited for everyone to be done. So then I go in the shower by myself. It was just like a whole being alone thing at the time. I don't want people to like, hey, don't worry about it. I hate that shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to worry about it. So
yeah.
You telling me not to worry about it. It's not doing anything positive here.
Yeah. I feel like you can't do the, hey, don't worry about it to a guy that isn't established yet. Like you could do that to like if Josh Beckett gave up fucking 7 earned runs and the Red Sox lost like a big game. Like you can do like the, hey man, like shake it off. It's like you're going to be fine. Like you're Josh Beckett. Like, you're still making millions. Because you had one shitty start, your spot in the rotation is not in jeopardy. But to someone that's trying to make the team or just stay in the big leagues in general, the hey, don't worry about it doesn't play.
No. You're going down. You might never come back.
Exactly. Like that's the thing is there are guys, and that was like one of the big things with like the Astros in 2017 was some of the players were like, well, what the fuck? Like you might have been stealing signs and cheating against a pitcher that sucked against you and then gets sent down. And because of that, they never get called back up again. Like that's just how it works sometimes.
It is.
So yeah, that is the business of baseball is can be dark sometimes.
Real son of a bitch.
Yeah. Jake, you ever have sushi?
Only Big Sam's.
That's right. Yeah.
When was the last time you were there, Jake?
I usually try to get down there a couple times a year. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
big time. I like Jake. He comes down, always supports.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Big Sam's stops to get a table in Big Sam's. And you know what Jake never does? Text me for a table. Listen, he takes care of it, goes right on the app, gets his own table. Doesn't even let me know he's there.
One of the people.
Yeah.
Great guy.
That's because Jake's out. He doesn't want you to comp the meal. He's like, I want to come here and support the business. So he'll come in the back door.
Yeah.
And
Great guy.
he'll get his table there at Big Sam's, and he'll ball out just to support the business. One of the only establishments to actually increase revenue during the pandemic.
Mhm.
Big Sam's.
Big Sam's.
Yeah. Coley's back.
Coley's back.
Hey, Coley.
Back. What's up?
We were just talking about Big Sam's.
Coley, when was the last time
Still?
you were at Big Sam's?
I'm not
Still?
a sushi guy.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm not a sushi guy.
I mean, but have you had Big Sam's?
I like their they've got a steak and cheese sushi, where they
Good.
replace the fish with steak and the rice with bread. So that's my favorite.
We made you a cheesesteak.
No. It's steak and cheese sushi.
Steak and cheese. Big Sam's steak and cheese.
Sushi.
Sushi. Yeah, that's one of our more popular.
The steak's not cooked.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
It's one of our more popular
It's
items.
a raw
actually.
slab of red meat with rice.
No
No,
rice.
no rice.
No rice. No rice. Okay.
Bread.
Just rice
You
on the
could
side.
get it with rice. It's just hard for Sam to get it all together.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that.
Sam doesn't like to
we got Tim
change
Wakefield
his
on the
stuff.
podcast today. What?
We did. Nope, don't worry about it.
No, I'm worried about it. What did you say?
Just saying that Big Sam doesn't like to make alterations to his recipes.
Right. Yeah. I can see that. I mean, when it's proven
It
like that,
works. Yeah.
Exactly.
tried and tested, what the hell are you changing it up for?
Big Sam doesn't do that.
No. 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 I can't wait for Big Sam's sushi t-shirts.
Same.
God bless you, Coley. Coley muted his mic to sneeze. Just fucking let that rip, dude.
No, I mean, my back's bad. Any sneeze for me could truly be the end. Like, you could see me just I've been severely worried my spine's just gonna snap in half. One of these.
That happened to
sneezes.
Jay one time.
Yeah, I know it happens. That's why I'm worried.
Yeah, Jay if you're a starting nine listener, he sneezed. I think this was in 2018, and put him out of work for like 10 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I ever get to that point, it's probably time to shut it down, you know? All right, Tim Wakefield. All right, we are now joined by Red Sox Hall of Famer, one of my best pals in the world, one of the nicest guys ever to ever grace this world, Tim Wakefield, one of the nicest guys. I never actually, before we get into this, I never actually got to thank you for the text message that you sent me. So like one of my aunts passed away like over a year ago. Tim Wakefield, of all people, reaches. I was like, that is like the nicest thing that anyone has ever done. So thank you for that. That was very thoughtful of you, Tim.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It was an honor.
That was so now you're down in Florida right now.
Yeah.
It's the Tournament of Champions, and I'm just putting two and two together. We interviewed John Smoltz last year to talk about this. Were you playing in it last year?
I did. I played in it last year. I finished like 15th or something like that. I got a chance to play with the GOAT, Annika Sorenstam, last year in my final round. I was shaking playing next to her. She's such a nice woman. She still compete. You know, it's amazing. She's a wonderful person.
So when is the actual tournament?
It starts Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But we have a practice. I'm playing with D-Lo today with a practice round, and then we have the another little sponsorship thing tomorrow.
How's he doing?
He's good. I haven't seen him yet today, so he drove over from Fort Myers. So I'm going to play with him about 11 o'clock today.
I feel like that's one of those things that Red Sox fans hold near and dear to their hearts. Like they want to think that the entire 04 team just still communicates with each other and is just like one big great fraternity. How many of those guys do you actually keep in touch with Not
Well,
like
Derek-
obviously daily, but like on a regular basis.
Not daily, but yeah. Derek lives here in Florida. He plays a lot of golf like I do. We go to these events together. Been able to play golf with him. I see Smoltzy at these events. I got a chance to obviously congratulate John Lester. I saw your podcast with him. I got to congratulate him. He's coming here. He's playing in this event, so I'm going to see him either today or tomorrow to actually congratulate him in person. Just guys like that, I still stay in touch with. Beckett, Millar, handful of guys stay in touch with.
Yeah, I feel like you don't have a choice but to stay in touch with Millar. That's just one of those things where if you don't reach out to him, he will.
How can you not stay in touch with him?
Yeah, he's one of those guys that you just can't help but stay in touch with. I'm curious, like, about your golf game, because I feel like for whatever reason, golf and baseball are very synonymous with each other. When did you pick it up? Was it something that the pitcher fraternity took you out, where it's like, all right, like you're one of the young guys, we're going to take you out golfing? Because we were actually just talking about you recently. There was a chance at one point, once upon a time in Pittsburgh, Tim Wakefield could have been Shohei Ohtani before Shohei Ohtani. That was a thing.
Hey, one home run is all I got, dude. That's it.
That's what I'm saying.
I know.
mean, that's one more home run than a lot of guys that have towed the slab.
There was a slight chance of that happening, but it didn't.
When did you pick up golf?
When I was younger, I played a little bit with my dad, and I didn't really get into it till I was in the minor leagues. I was with the Salem Bucks, which is still I think the Red Sox farm team. Don't they have a team in Salem now?
Yeah.
I think they do. So it was there that I started playing a little bit more, because the apartment I rented was actually on a golf course, and we kind of got a free membership because we were renting, and I would go out in the mornings if I wasn't pitching and play a little golf. That's what I really got into it.
So when you're playing golf throughout your baseball career, I'm assuming, once you get to a certain point of success and you're playing with other baseball players, everyone's a millionaire by that point. You're all financially secure. What is the most interesting thing, not money, that was ever wagered in a round of golf between you and teammates?
The best one was the loser had to buy the winner a shirt in the pro shop. Like Smoltzy was that guy when Smoltzy was here. Roger Clemens taught me the ropes when I first got to Boston. He was the leader of the tour, the mini tour. He had all the connections of all the great golf courses all around the league, and was able to play some really fun places. I can't remember what art outside of money, what it was. It was me and him, Canseco, and Jim Rice would play together a lot. 95, 96 when he was his last couple of years there. But Smoltzy always razzes me. He's like, hey, remember this shirt? I got it at the pro shop at such and such place. He's a good golfer. I got him a couple times, but he got me more than I got him.
Smoltz?
Yes.
Isn't Smoltz, like, he prides himself on, like, I mean, he's a baseball Hall of Famer.
Yeah, absolutely.
But doesn't he say, like, I basically could have went pro golfing if I chose golf instead of baseball?
I think so. Yeah, I think he could.
You think that's true?
He's that good. Yeah.
Interesting. Was Canseco normal back then, or was he always just a little quirky?
Oh, totally normal. He wore two gloves. He put stickum on the grips of his clubs, and he had that open stance, back shoulder dip, and he swung as hard as he swung a bat too.
Just baseball swing golf.
Yeah, but the ball didn't go anywhere.
That's actually quite the foursome out there. If you're actually golfing with Roger Clemens, who I don't think he's ever done anything and not had just the most competitive energy that you've ever seen. Is that someone that you believe should be in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I think he should be. I mean, the guy won 7 Cy Youngs. How does
7?
Not? I mean, holy crap! Definitely.
Yeah, I am definitely on the same side of the fence as you.
I don't think
I would be very excited.
I don't think that'll ever be accomplished again.
No, and even because just the way that the voting works and the metrics that they use now is just not. It's not how they viewed it before, and even we've seen patterns more recently with another teammate of yours, Pedro. He won the Cy Young in 99 and then in 2000. And then he was limited in 2001 with injuries. But then in 2002, he beat Barry Zito in just about every statistical category. And Barry Zito won the Cy Young. It was just like the voters were like, let's give someone else a turn. Like, that's basically what happened. Yeah, like statistically it was so much better.
We all as teammates of Pedro's were not happy about that decision because he absolutely dominated that season as well.
Yeah, and I feel like it's when we talk about Pedro and his legacy, I feel like for whatever, I mean, we understand why. Like 99, everyone gets locked in on 99 because of the All-Star game. The 313 strikeouts, and then the 6 no-hit innings against Cleveland in the playoffs. Like 99, that was the year of Pedro.
By far.
You could make the case that he was better in 2000, and then everyone forgets about the Cy Young that he won before he got to Boston. So it just feels like when some people that didn't see it live,
right,
when they talk about Pedro, they almost talk about this like 2-season window where it was like, yes, he was very dominant, but it was in here. But really, if he had won that 2002 Cy Young, now you're talking about a large span of just complete dominance. Like that's why that 2002 bothers me so much.
I agree. I mean, his career in Boston was complete domination when he was healthy. I mean, he had a couple years that he wasn't healthy, but the metrics, I mean, especially in 2004, that was it wasn't the last time, but the last time a Boston rotation, all 5 of us made every start, which was insane. And Pedro was kind of the leader, and then Schilling and me and D'Lo and Bronson Arroyo. That was by far. I think we had one guy came in and started a doubleheader for us, and that was the only. I can't remember who that was. Do you remember?
Abe Alvarez.
Abe Alvarez. You're right. Yeah. That was the only one, but his domination and for his career in a Boston Red Sox uniform is unprecedented in my mind. I mean, what he did not only on the mound but off the mound, and he was a really good teammate. Just an all-around great guy.
Does he golf?
I've seen him golf in David Ortiz's event, but he's not very good.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't
hit bombs, but he can't hit a golf ball. It's crazy. He swings and misses.
Who's the worst golfer that you've ever played with? Like baseball player.
As a baseball player, it's got to be Ortiz. He doesn't really play. I mean, he hosts his own tournament, and we would get him like on the tee and say, "Hey, dude, let's try to hit this golf ball on a tee. It's sitting still." And he swings and misses.
That's because I feel like if you're a power hitter like that, everyone is expecting you to have a monster drive. So you're closing your eyes and you're swinging out of your ass and hoping for 600 yards. Exactly. And sometimes you end up with 0.
Sometimes you top it in the water.
Yeah. We're just joined here by Pat Light. This was one of the worst turning points in the history of the Red Sox organization. So 2011, you retire.
Yep.
Varitek retires.
Yep.
Tito's gone. Theo's gone. And then the following season, the Red Sox used their first-round draft pick on Pat Light, who terrible. That's why he's on this show now. He's full-time co-host.
Hey, listen. Yeah. I saw him in training. He was a good pitcher.
No, he wasn't.
Thank you, Tim.
So against like Northeastern, he was fine. Then they put him up against like real baseball teams, and not so much.
Yeah. So the reason why I bring up Pat here is because when he was in the big leagues, he threw 100 miles an hour.
I know.
And we kind of came up with this because he had a really good splitter. But we were kind of saying, what would the success rate be, or how scary would it be to face a knuckleball pitcher who also had a 100-mile-an-hour fastball? I think that would be one of the most terrifying things of all time.
I mean, the differential in my speed was 65, but if I can throw 100, obviously my knuckleball is going to be a lot faster. I don't think any catcher would be able to catch like an 80-mile-an-hour knuckleball. You'd have to get gloves like this and just try to stop it.
Like what would that look? It would almost. I feel like it would move less if it's moving. If it's 80 miles an hour.
No,
Don't you think it would?
No, it's all the aerodynamics over the ball. So when you throw it with no spin, obviously the airflow over the top creates turbulence behind it, which makes it move. So the art of taking the spin off is the most important thing. Mine moved a lot because maybe it was slower, but I mean, R.A. Dickey threw his hard. Stephen Wright threw his hard. He had really good depth to his. He threw his, I want to say 75 or 80 sometimes.
That's interesting.
I just didn't have any gas in the arm. I can only throw it 65.
when you retired, was it a situation where you had more left in the tank? Like you could have played another season, but it was just like, all right, like there's a lot of turnover right now. Like, all right.
Well, yeah, I had some in the tank. I wanted to play one more year. I wanted an opportunity to try to break the record of most wins in Red Sox history. But
yep.
The way the whole roster was set, I mean, it was, they had, I think, a couple guys that were out of options and they couldn't sit down. So it just became a decision on my own. Like they offered me a contract to come to spring training as a minor league invite and try to make the team, but I didn't want to get over there and, the decisions made by the organization forced me out. I didn't want it to end that way. So I decided to retire on my own. I think Varitek was the same way.
Yeah, I think I was about to ask you what would have been worse, like going out the way that 2011 ended or having to deal with the entirety of 2012, which was just a 6-month disaster. But I would assume, I would assume if you got a minor league invite in 2012, that team, I think, lost like 90-something games.
Yeah.
Pretty sure Tim Wakefield is getting a look at the big league level in 2012, and then you would have broke the record. So I think the answer is pretty clear. Like you would have chosen the one more year.
I would have chosen one more year if they would have guaranteed me a major league contract. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, something would have had to have gone catastrophically wrong for you not to have at least gotten a start in 2012. That team stunk.
Yeah, it was bad.
Big bad.
Yeah.
What was because you were part of 2 championship runs, and then I always talk about 2008 as the best Red Sox team to have not won a World Series. Would you agree that was the best team because do you think that just because 2004 did what they did, that's the best Red Sox team that you ever played for, or we're talking just strictly talent?
That's a good question. I don't really know the answer to that. 2004 was an unbelievable team. We gelled at the right time, obviously down 3-0, and it was kind of the team that we had in 2003. We unfortunately lost in the ALCS, but the 2007 team was completely different. Yeah, we had a handful of veterans that were on the 04 team. Obviously, me and Schilling and Timlin and Varitek was still around, and that was the emergence of John Lester. That was the emergence of Pedroia. That was the emergence of Jacoby Ellsbury. So we had a sprinkling of young kids that I think us veterans, knowing what it took to win, I think put that on those guys and taught them, obviously the curse had ended at that point. So there was not a lot of pressure on the younger kids or us as veterans, and we were able to pull it off in 2007. 2008 was a really good team, and unfortunately, it didn't happen. I think we just kind of maybe ran out of gas at the end, but talent.
Beckett was hurt and Lowell was hurt. If those two guys are healthy, that team's winning back-to-back World Series titles.
I agree with you.
And then even like 2003, like I feel like that team gets left out. Like everyone talks about the ALCS, but no one talks about the regular season where that offense set just about every offensive record that you possibly could. Like that team was a joke.
That was the beginning of Big Papi, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the way he came in and just completely dominated, and it took a lot of pressure off of Manny. It took a lot of pressure off guys that were around him that made everybody else better.
Right, Damian Jackson, a lot of guys. that team was ridiculous.
That was the Cowboy Up year with Millar.
Correct.
That was Millar's first year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Millar got snatched from the clutches of Japan.
Yep. And Beckett.
Everyone forgets that story too.
That was
like Millar was going to Japan,
Yeah.
and that was like the unspoken thing is if a player is going to Japan, they have to clear waivers, and it's the unspoken rule that you do not claim that player if they're on waivers because they're trying to be sent to Japan. The Red Sox were like, yeah, we'll take Kevin Millar.
Great.
Essentially, you could take that unspoken rule being broken directly relating to a championship.
I totally agree because he was the guy in 04 that, you know the story. We all, we're down 3-0. We go to the clubhouse and Millar was adamant, like, hey guys, don't let us win tonight. And actually it changed the chemistry of our club and our attitude going into the game. Like we were all moping around like, oh, here we go again. But no, Millar actually, what you saw on the videos was true. Like even inside the clubhouse, he was like, let's go guys. If we win tonight, then we got Pedro, then we got Schilling, and anything goes in game 7. So him saying what he said and having the attitude that he had when he was talking to Shaughnessy was, the turning point.
Well, Shaughnessy is an asshole. His ballot being just Jeff Kent is one of the most insulting things ever put on paper by a Boston sports writer, and that's saying a lot.
I didn't know that. He's been really good to me, so I can't really say.
He's been good to me too. So that's the thing is like I like Dan as a person, but I say that I would say this to Dan. Dan, thank you for always being good to me. There were a lot of Boston writers that were very skeptical. No. There were a lot of Boston writers that were very skeptical about me when I first kind of came in, and he asked me to go like get dinner, and like he wanted to see like what I was about. So not a lot of people did that. So I was very appreciative of that. That being said, horrible ballot, terrible.
I mean,
terrible, Dan. I mean, Jeff Kent. That's it.
This is like the 3rd year in a row too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That he only voted for one guy?
Just Jeff Kent.
Just Jeff Kent.
Every time. Yeah. Every time it's Kent.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He just, I don't know. It is what it is. It's only one man's ballot. It's a terrible ballot, but it's only one man's ballot. The thing that I wanted to ask you about, because we were talking about 2004, game 5, you're coming out of the bullpen, and Tito doesn't want to lose Jason Varitek's bat. And Varitek is not used to catching the knuckleball. You gave the entire region of New England, or actually it was more Jason's fault, I guess. I mean, at least like get some side work in there, like be familiar with the knuckleball in some regard. I think what people really want to know, because we all saw the game, if there was some conversation, because Red Sox end up winning the game, Ortiz walks it off a second night in a row. Was there a conversation after that game that you have with Varitek where it's just like, whew? I mean, that was like he had to have had some sort of. I know that he's super serious guy all the time, but he had to have had some sort of sense of humor about that performance after the game.
I wasn't going to say anything to him. That's the captain. He'd rip my head off if I had anything to say. But you don't have to say anything. We all understood the pressure that he was under back there. He hadn't caught me hardly at all that season, and he did great. I mean, he caught the last strike.
No, he didn't.
He caught the ones that needed to be caught.
That's true. Yeah, no run scored, right?
No run scored.
No.
Beautiful.
You know what's funny? He and I were talking about it, I think this past summer or this past the winter before. I was at his house and we had dinner. We were drinking some wine, talking about that series, and we both agreed or both concluded that we both thought that the strikeout to Ruben Sierra was the last inning I pitched, and then David hit the homer. Then we looked it up online, and I completely forgot the next inning where it went 1, 2, 3, and then David hit it. So we thought the climactic moment was the Ruben Sierra strikeout,
the fist pump,
and I thought, okay, we win in the bottom of that inning, but that's not what happened. And Varitek thought the same thing too. And I'm like, wait a second, I know there was one more inning in there somewhere. Where was it?
Yeah, I think the fist pump might have been in the 14th.
Yes.
And then you had to come back out for the 15th.
I think you're right.
which is incredible.
What non-baseball memory do you have from that time? Because obviously it was like you ended a game at 4 a.m,
right?
And then you were playing 2 hours later. So like, what are the moments, I guess, just from the atmosphere of those 4 days? Like, what really sticks out in your mind?
Wow. Just the electricity that was in the air. You know, when we come back and win game 4 with Ortiz's homer, I was in the bullpen getting ready to come into that game as well, and then we win with a homer. It was just, I mean, the electricity went to 100 instead of 10. It was insane. You know, it was bitter cold and it was late, and every game was ended at 1 or 2 in the morning. Then the next night it was the same thing, game 5, and then game 6 going to New York, and we had a day off, and we were able to cut. No, we didn't have a day off. Didn't we get a rain out or something?
You were supposed there was a rain out, I think, after game 3 or
That's
before game. Yeah, so it was weird. Like, people who had tickets to game 3 ended up going to game 4 because of the rain.
I mean, dude, you hear me talking. Everything's a blur to me at those 4
Right.
days. Like, it was crazy. But, obviously winning it in game 7 and being able to, especially for me personally, being able to celebrate on the field that I just had to walk off of the year before, giving up the homer to Aaron Boone. But the coolest part, I don't know if you guys know the story. Maybe you do. The coolest part about that night is that we're celebrating in the clubhouse. One of the clubhouse attendants came over to me. He's like, "Hey man, you got a phone call on the phones that were on the wall." Nope. I mean, everybody still, didn't have cell phones. So got a call from the phone on the wall, and I go over there and answered it. It was Joe Torre. And Joe Torre wanted to congratulate me personally, because he said, "Hey, you're one of the guys, one of the only guys I like on that team, and I just wanted to congratulate you on a job well done, especially after what happened last year. You're a true professional." I mean, that meant the most to me. I wrote him a thank you card and stuff, and we've been pretty good friends if I see him at a golf tournament or stuff and around the league. But what a class act he was.
That's awesome. I never knew that. That's a really cool story. Was there anyone else on the other side that you had an somewhat good relationship with, or after your playing days were over, you're like, hey, maybe this guy's not so bad?
We respected all of those guys. I didn't have a personal relationship with anybody, but there's only one guy that was really hated on that team, and I think he still is.
It's fair to say.
I mean, you saw the reaction he gets during the postseason last year on Jersey Street, right?
Yeah, big time. Yeah. But to his credit, he smiles through it all. He's just like, Yeah.
He also has David standing right next to him,
That's
egging
true.
everyone on to make it much worse.
It's so funny to watch on the air, those two, back and forth with each other. It actually makes it an interesting show.
It does. The dynamic is very interesting.
Yeah.
So I what was it, May of this past year? I interviewed both of them at the same time.
Did you?
And and they were talking about 2004 and how I knew that they became friends later down the line. I didn't realize that they were friends at the time. That changes. It's almost like something that you just didn't want to know. Like back in the 80s or the 70s, if the bad guy wrestler was friends with Hulk Hogan, you didn't want to know that. They were talking about having dinners together during the ALCS. I'm like, well, why are you doing that? I don't like that at all. That was back when, because now the rivalry exists more between the fans. Red Sox fans, Yankee fans, they don't like each other. The players, they couldn't give a shit. And that's fine. I mean, the wild card game was still super exciting, but the rivalry had juice because Red Sox fans hate Garrett Cole. It's not but I'm sure that there's some guys on the Red Sox that they're not Garrett Cole's biggest fan because of the spider tack stuff. And he's kind of just whiny in general. Mm-hmm. But back then, there was so much juice to the rivalry. Do you think, there's no way, you were there long before the curse being broken and after. So your sample size of both sides of the spectrum is big enough to be able to say, do you think we'll ever see anything like that ever again?
I think you will. Obviously what's going on now with the rivalry is it's kind of going back to where my era was, and even back in the 70s, because what it takes is two really good teams with a group of players that play against each other for 5, 10, 11 years. Like, me, Varitek, all, the core group of guys that stayed together for 10 years playing against, Posada, Bernie Williams, the whole, Jeter had come in at that time. And it gets heated when you guys are good and you're competing against each other. And then you get the fans involved in it as well. And we feel that energy from the fans on both sides.
Your demeanor, you're always very calm. And I feel like, is there a psychological connection between your mood all the time and being a knuckleball pitcher where it's like, I have no control over any of this. I just have to accept. It's the same thing as your day. I'm going to wake up and whatever happens. I just have to accept that I have no control over this. And being a knuckleball pitcher, when I let go of this, it's in God's hands now. Is there a connection there, Tim?
No.
There has to be something deep rooted there.
I tried to stay as emotionless, if that's the right word, during when I pitched. I tried to not show any emotion as I'm pitching, because I feel like as a pitcher, if I show any kind of emotion, that's going to dictate what the hitter feels when he's facing me. So I tried to stay as stoic as possible, even though at some point maybe I was nervous or not scared. And then on the other side, if I was really confident, I didn't want to show that either. I just wanted to stay kind of in the middle and do what I did.
Yeah, I definitely, I want to say, go ahead, Coley.
No, I was just going to say, since going off of Jared's question, were there days where you threw that first pitch and you were just like, today's not the day?
I always try. I learned not to use my warm-up session as a barometer of how the game was going to go, because there was times younger in my career that I would leave the bullpen thinking I'm going to throw a no-hitter and not last 2 innings.
Mm-hmm. And then there was a game that you gave up 5 home runs and won.
Yes. I know. So I had to stay stoic during that time, right? That was, dude, I tell that story all the time. I pitched to one batter out of the stretch. So the first inning, it was out, homer, out. Then the next inning was homer, out. Then the next inning was out, homer, out. It went, I walked one guy and gave up a 2-run homer and got the next 2 outs or whatever. I got 3 outs in that inning. And I was so pissed when I walked off the mound. Tito was
Where was that? Detroit?
It was in Detroit, a day game. And my wife was in the hospital the night before because she had kidney stones. So I was up till 2 a.m. So I wasn't very friendly when I got up the next morning. So when Tito took me out of the game, I almost ripped his head off. I wasn't mad at him, but I was just so pissed. But we ended up scoring 4 or 5 runs in the bottom or the top of the 6th and got the win. Thank you.
Yeah, you did. Is that the Red Sox record is what, 192?
192, yeah.
Okay. Why do I know all this shit? I'm such a loser. God.
I had 186.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean that was so that I would imagine that the Red Sox wins record would have meant the most to you. What's one thing aside from the World Series? What's the thing that meant the most to you during your time with the Red Sox?
Winning the Roberto Clemente Award in 2010. Yeah. That was pretty special because the significance of it, and everybody at Fenway that helped me do what I did. I got to tip my hat to them. The community relations department. They would bring. I had the Wakefield Warriors every Tuesday home game. I would bring them in, their siblings and their family, and treat them to BP and sign autographs. And even if I wasn't their favorite player, if it was Ortiz or Martinez or Manny or whatever, I would go into the clubhouse and grab them and bring them outside and let them meet. It was the kids from the Jimmy Fund and the Franciscan Children's Hospital. So that meant the most, that it was recognized for things that I did off the field. Like every other player that I was involved with the Red Sox, they did a lot of charitable stuff off the field as well.
I feel like that's true, but having had a front row seat to a lot of it, I feel like you went above and beyond the most. I feel like you did a lot that there are guys that will do charitable stuff. But I feel like you were constantly doing stuff like that.
Well,
And it wasn't just, I have one charity over here. Like you were spreading it all out, doing multiple different things.
Well,
Like that did not go unnoticed.
I appreciate that. John Lester was another one. Obviously, you had the podcast with him. He did a lot, not only in Boston, but when he went to Chicago, he had his Never Quit Foundation that raised a lot of money for kids with cancer. And, Ortiz won the Roberto Clemente Award as well. There was a lot of baseball players out there, not only in the teams that I played for, but throughout the league that did a lot for their teams and for their communities that they played in.
Yeah, I think Ortiz built a whole ass hospital in the Dominican.
Yeah,
him and Pedro, I think they both did. Pedro was building churches and Ortiz was building hospitals.
Yeah, he was. I still go to his event every single year. He had it in just south of Naples somewhere. I can't remember the name of the town, but
wasn't some island.
Marco Island. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. I only know that because randomly from the clouds, I get a message. Who's it from? Johnny Damon. Johnny Damon's my buddy now. He used to listen to the live radio show that we did, and he would just randomly call in sometimes, just to talk. Yeah, yeah. Have you kept in touch with?
That's another one of my teammates that I stay in touch with a lot. He's a good dude.
Yeah. He's a regular. I mean, you would get that from just, I guess, following his career from afar. You could get the impression that that's just another regular guy that doesn't take himself too seriously.
Totally.
But that is him to a T. Just a regular ass dude living down. Yep. He is a Florida man.
He is a Florida guy. Yes.
Yeah, he is. He is. Pat, did you have a story for Tim?
Well, honestly, the story, I don't know if you remember this, Tim.
Your mic is definitely not plugged in, Pat. So Pat is this is his rookie season. You can hear him, but it's definitely not coming through his mic. This is his rookie season, mic. So okay. Tap it. Tap that mic.
He's doing a good job, though. I watch your podcast occasionally, and Pat's doing a really good job for you.
Pat's doing a great job. I would agree with you. Pat, give it a little tap there.
I tapped it.
Just tap the mic. You sure didn't.
You didn't tap it.
I did tap it.
Nope. Yeah. So you need to select the microphone.
Video,
audio. Yeah.
I know you didn't tap it.
Pat, you gotta select the mic on StreamYard.
I did that already, Jared.
God,
I didn't do it. This guy.
Whoops.
How about now?
Oh wow.
Better?
That's like you're in the room with me.
Hey Tim, how are you, man?
I'm good.
Good to talk to you, man.
Nice to talk to you.
This is actually not that great of a story. So I actually told Jared, I actually told you guys all last week that we were gonna. I didn't want to make everyone think this is gonna be a phenomenal story because it wasn't. But back in my first big league spring training, one of two that I went to, I was at, I think, Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in one of the, I don't know what town it is that it's in down there, but all of a sudden I'm sitting there having a nice dinner and with my two parents, and my father just looks at me and straight red face. My dad's a very bashful man. He never really outwardly spoken man like myself, but he goes, Pat, Tim Wakefield and Jason Varitek just walked in. And I was just okay. I had already met you guys, so it wasn't crazy for me at this moment. And I was all right. I was Dad, stop looking, please stop looking. And he's nah, it's Tim Wakefield and Jason Varitek. How do I stop looking at this? And I was we're finally finishing up dinner, and my dad gets up and we go over there. And he's Pat, can we just go off left? Can we get maybe, because you know them, maybe they'll say hi to us. And I was Dad, I have not pitched well thus far in spring training. I can't be doing these types of things, but we did it anyway. And you guys both got up, shook my father's hand, and I don't think I have ever heard the end of it. Every time your name or Jason Varitek's name gets brought up, it's oh, do you remember them at Ruth's Chris? They got up, they got out of dinner. I mean, who are you, Pat? Why would they get up for you? And I was all right, thanks, Dad. Appreciate that.
I remember.
We need to get your dad on.
It was kind of the slide door right by the bar, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you guys.
Yes.
I remember that.
That was so. Again,
not surprising at all that you would remember that.
No, apparently Tim, great guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that there's billions of stories. I cannot picture. I cannot fathom a scenario where Tim Wakefield would not want to meet a fan. Yeah, especially in Boston, where I'm sure there was post 2004, you guys had to have been living life like rock stars, essentially, where you couldn't go anywhere. Like there was probably nowhere that you felt like you weren't being watched. Was that weird for you?
Well, not really. I mean, it was accepted. The great thing is I never had to buy a beer or a drink in the city ever again.
True.
But it was cool to be able to hold our heads up high, knowing that we had brought a championship to the city of Boston since 86 years. I mean, the stories, like the thing that got me the most is the stories afterwards, talking to fans and say, you know, hey, thank you so much for, you know, reversing the curse and winning the World Series. You know, my grandfather or my father didn't make it, but we were able to go to the cemetery and lay a pennant or a hat or a scarf or whatever. Those stories touched all of us deeply, knowing what it meant for us to finally bring a championship back to Boston. That was the cool part.
So the Tournament of Champions is the 20th through the 23rd. Yep. Hilton Grand Vacations. I want to. There's something about a $1.2 million purse. What's that all about, Tim?
That's for the ladies. That's not for us. I think ours is something 100 and something thousand, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, you guys. It looks like there's 72 hole competitions. Wow. $1.2 million purse. Well, a roster of world-class celebrity players, that's probably you, compete for their own $500,000, Tim.
$500,000 purse, yes. I think the winner gets 125.
Okay.
So
where are you sending that?
I'm going to spread it to Section 10 podcast. How about that?
I love that. We'll give it to Pat so you can get a new microphone, because that was a tough start. I mean, you got Tim Wakefield on this podcast. We are like, hey, Pat, here's your shining moment. And guys fumble in the bag right now.
I'm sorry, Jared.
No, don't apologize. Apologize to Tim.
Sorry, Tim.
Apologize to Tim.
Don't apologize to me. I get it.
Sorry, Coley.
You're good. You're good.
Sorry, Jay.
Tim, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
We'll have to do this again during the season. Once we can get back down to Fenway, we'd love to have you back on.
Is there going to be a season? I hope.
You know what? The more it sounds to me like all this dilly-dallying, it wouldn't surprise me if we didn't play the first month of games. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Okay.
I hope that's not the case. I hope that's not the case.
I hope it's not either. Baseball, we can't go through this.
We really can't.
No.
And at this point, I think it's a situation where, you know, the diehard baseball fans are always going to care. But, you know, you've had so much momentum in this sport over the last couple of years. And right now you have some of the most talented and exciting players in baseball right now are all in their early 20s.
I agree.
Like, you're wasting if you're not playing games, like we lost 2/3 of a season in 2020.
Yep.
And now you want to shave months off of this season when you've got like the Tatises and Sotos and Vladdies and Shoheis of the world. Like, they're in their primes right now, and they are just not playing games.
Yeah, it's sad. And I'm not privy to the information that's being shared, but I hopefully they're talking behind closed doors, trying to get a deal done, because we can't have a work stoppage or, you know, a season delayed. That's it'd be.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I saw Catherine Varitek yesterday. She's like, I'm going to spring training, whether there's spring training or not. Like, she's trying to will it into reality by just showing up.
Yeah. If you just show up, it'll happen.
Yeah. She sent me the flight ticket and everything. She's dead serious. Like, she's going, and I was like, you know what? I might have to join you. If there's a will, there's a way, Tim. So I'm hoping that there's a baseball season.
I'll meet you.
I love that. And you can give me some golf lessons.
There we go.
Tim Wakefield, thank you so much for taking the time.
Appreciate it.
Take it easy.
Talk to you soon.
Later.
What a power move. Just walking away.
Was I supposed to stay on?
No. Everyone else always like logs out or closes the computer. You just walking off. This is an incredible power move. I love it.
This is
I
the
love
computer,
it.
so it's the
I know.
PR
It was
girl.
great.
Sorry,
It was
guys.
absolutely great.
That was great.
No, dude, that was tremendous.
It's him. That was incredible. That's gonna be the promo.
Has to be.
Always a pleasure talking to Tim Wakefield. I know that there's probably some people listening to this podcast being like, you guys didn't ask him about X, Y, and Z. How did you leave out this, and that? Tim Wakefield, that was the second time on Section 10. So a lot of the stuff that you probably maybe might have been curious about that we didn't ask about, we probably asked it in the first interview. So you're going to have to go back and find that. I want to say that was in 2018 or 19, maybe. Maybe it was 18.
I wasn't there.
It was at Fenway. You might have been. I think you were on the show, but I mean, we shot that interview like sitting on like the back of a truck on Jersey Street, across the street from Fenway. At the time, it was Yawkey Way. We just went across. We were like, I think we were at the bottom of the stairs of the Nesson set across the street. We just like
Makes sense.
yeah, because there's cell phone video of it, but there's no like, we didn't set up a camera, I don't think. So it's been a while. We've evolved. I don't know what the COVID rules are going to be this season. But I would love to be able to get back in there and do dugout interviews this year. It was super weird. Like I already forget that last year started with no fans. And that's like gradually introduced, like now we have like 20%. And then like in May or whatever, I remember hearing like, yeah, we're going to be at 100% by June. And it's like, the fuck you are? No chance. Then they're at full capacity by like June 1st or whatever it was. So, I mean, we had a majority of the season with full capacity and all that. But yeah, I mean, we're not that far removed from no one being in the stands and like 20% capacity and shit like that. Very strange. So hopefully this upcoming season, if they're, I don't want to even say like if there is a season, I don't think that they're going to not play a season. They can't afford, like the sport cannot afford to not play a season. Can't afford it. But yeah, there's been some turnover in the, what is that? The PR department? I don't know. But we'll see. We have to get Pat in there. We got to get Coley in there. Do a nice little dugout interview. I was actually putting together a wish list. I didn't end up tweeting it. I think it was because something happened. I think it was something in the world happened where I was like, this isn't timely. But I put together like a wish list of guests that I wanted for this season. I said
In season?
I just said 2022 Section 10 interview wish list in no particular order.
Okay.
I feel like it might be in order.
Okay.
It's one of those things where like it's definitely in order, but you say in no particular order so that no one feels bad. You ever do that?
Luckily, they won't hear this part.
I mean, I don't know that it is in order. All right, you ready? Number 1, Rafael Devers with JD Martinez as his translator.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, Jackie Bradley Jr.
Ooh.
I mean, we never got him when he was here.
No?
I asked him. I did. I think he just didn't want to do it back then.
Nope.
I think it was 2019, and and we were in the dugout, and I was like, hey Jackie, are you busy tomorrow? Like, do you have anything going on tomorrow? And he I forget who he looked at, but he looked at someone. Like, it just came off as like, tell me I got something to do tomorrow. I don't think he wanted to do it. But I'd like to have him.
You were drafted the year before Jackie?
Yes. Year after.
Year after?
No.
Yeah, Jackie's older than me.
Oh yeah, he got called up in 13. Yeah, Jackie got called up in 13. Pat got drafted in 12.
Fair.
Number 3, Clay Buchholz.
Okay.
What do you mean okay? That would be a great interview. That would be very entertaining. There'd be a lot of tension and great
Definitely.
stories.
I was with you. I was lockstep 1, 2. There's someone we've talked about already, not necessarily on this show, who I would have ahead of him.
Like I said, this is in no particular order.
For sure. I'm doing mine in order.
Okay. Number 4, John Lackey.
Also, sorry.
Coley, go ahead.
I was going to say, we're going to have Julio translate for Rafael. We should have Kevin Millar translate for you and Clay. Not necessarily translate, but be the intermediary, since it's not like you guys are best friends yet. So just in case tensions start to boil over, when you're like, hey, Clay, why did you suck? Then Kevin Millar could be like, oh, that's one of his classic jokes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's actually a great idea. And I think the thing is, Millar would 1,000% do it.
Correct.
Yeah, there's no chance that he would turn that opportunity down. Number 4, John Lackey.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5, Kevin Plawecki.
Oh, definitely.
Crazy we haven't had Plawecki on. I mean, I wanted to, but it was like most of these I just know would be better in person.
Right.
Plawecki would be outstanding.
I might have Plawecki 1.
The Weck Dog?
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing about Plawecki. He would do it right now.
For sure.
I could call him right now and be like, Section 10, let's roll. And be like, all right, let's do it. Even if he was golfing, like he would like stop what he was doing, I think, to do like at least 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Great guy. Number 6, Coley's Chris Sale redemption.
Me and Chris, I mean, I talked to him a little when we were unofficially going over some prospects that were out there. We're in great terms.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, he's definitely like a burner guy. Didn't we ask him that? Didn't we ask him that in the interview? Like, do you have like burners? Like, not that he uses to post, but I think he definitely has like a dummy account that he uses to like look at things.
Yeah. I mean, everyone should.
Yeah. My dad wants one, and I'm like, absolutely not.
He would just be tweeting about cigars.
Yeah, he wouldn't not like. I'd be like, all right, you can have this Twitter account just to look, and then he would just start firing off takes. Like, no, that's not what you're like. I would need to like child-proof his Twitter account.
Yeah,
like they should do that. Like, they should have the ability to do that, where it's like, all right, you can have this Twitter account, but the ability to actually send a tweet is password protected, and I just wouldn't give him the password.
Yeah.
Number 7, Kike Hernandez.
Okay. Little Papi.
Little Papi. Yeah, I feel like Kike. Did he say? I can't remember if he said that he wanted to do it last year. Something like that. There's some sort of. Last year is just weird. Sucks because it was such a good group, and I feel like we could have gotten such great content out of it.
Definitely. I mean, there's a guy who may not be back who would probably be like 1 or 2 on this list if he is back.
Who the fuck is that?
Kyle.
Oh. We can still get Kyle.
Sure, but like especially
It would've-
during
yeah.
the playoffs, it would have been electric. He's an electric human being, so no matter when it happens, I just hope he's like people forget he's not on the team currently, and he should be.
See, like when you said might not come back, it didn't even register in my mind that Kyle wouldn't come home.
Yeah, I hope he does. I hope he stays true to his Waltham roots and stays home.
Just think of the convenience. Like your family gets to see you play 81 times a year if they want.
Jared had the entire country talking about Waltham, Massachusetts. Jared's done more for the town of Waltham than anyone who's ever stepped foot inside Waltham.
I would argue that's true. I would argue
I'll say
that's true.
incorrect things, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kyle from Waltham. That was something that really bothered me more. If the Red Sox won the World Series last year, which at the time, like if fucking Laz Diaz does his goddamn job, Nathan Eovaldi, strike 3, Red Sox walk that game off. Okay, now they're up 3-1. 3-1 against the Astros. I would say they have a 81% chance of winning that series, maybe higher. You beat the Astros. I feel pretty good about their chances against the Braves. I mean, obviously we saw what they did to Houston.
No.
No?
I was saying it in real time. Like the Braves were the team.
Yeah,
I
you were
wanted
the
to
team
play
of
the least.
destiny guy, but so were the fucking Rockies. They won 21
that was
out
different.
of 23. No,
That was different.
they were
It
better.
was super
They were
different.
better. They were
I
better.
agree. That's why it was different. They also had a
No.
week off in between games. Like they
No.
had to sit in the snow for a week while we were still playing. Like
Doesn't
the
matter.
Rockies
If you're a team of
were
destiny,
not
it
the
doesn't
same.
matter. Like if
No.
if the Rockies
But they
had
weren't.
beaten the
We
Red
know they
Sox
weren't.
in 2007, then that World Series DVD is talking about like, and they had to sit in the snow for 10 days while they waited for the Red Sox to beat the Indians.
Right.
It's like,
But they didn't. Because they weren't a team of
yeah,
destiny.
that's because the Red Sox are immune to teams of destiny.
They usually are the team of destiny.
Sometimes. But my point was, if the Red Sox won the World Series last year, which they should have, it was stupid to not do it. They would have had a parade for Kyle in Waltham. Like, that would have
Oh,
happened.
definitely.
But where does it end? They have a World Series parade for Kyle from Waltham. Is there a statue? Do they name a street? Do they name the high school baseball field after Kyle from Waltham? I don't know. But I feel like it wouldn't have ended at just the parade. Pat, what do you think?
No, wouldn't have ended at just the parade.
What do you think
Absolutely.
they would have done?
What do you think they would have done in what respect?
What they would have done? Name a fucking hospital after him?
It's on the table. It's certain. I don't think there's many things off the table in that. If something were to happen in that respect, I think it's a hospital for sure. Library, library is a no brainer though.
Yeah,
that's pretty easy. Possibly a government building, if they have any, like a city hall type area. I think all of those are there for the taking.
There's definitely something somewhere named after someone who's since been proven to be a racist.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
There's a statue that they wanted to take down and erect a statue of Kyle Schwarber instead. I just feel like the content possibilities were really, we got fucked as a podcast and as a society by Laz Diaz. We really did.
I mean, I still blame Eddie. If Eddie doesn't touch his wrist, I think the Astros just roll over and die.
I really hate that. That's a narrative that you believe in.
Well, fucking, I was talking to Ryan Russillo yesterday on Macrodosing, the only podcast on the internet, And he was like, "Oh yeah, didn't you," talking about me and the Red Sox season when I went to the game. So that narrative's still out there. People blame me.
When you went as Sully from Monsters Inc.
Yeah. Which
Well, it
was
wasn't
the
my
last
fault.
ALCS game. No, you got a jacket.
Yeah. I got a fucking brand new jacket. They won every game that I went to wearing that jacket until Sully from Monsters Inc. showed up on the monster. And then the jacket was rendered powerless.
I mean, again, we still scored more runs with me in that costume than out. That's a fact.
What?
With me in the costume during that series, we scored more runs than when I was not wearing it. I put it on and fucking Kyle or Julio hit the grand slam? One of them.
Kyle.
Yeah. And
Well,
then it was just
they
a
won
grand
that
slam
game.
bonanza.
They
No
won
shit.
the game.
Yeah, they had a winning record with me in the costume. Fact. They were 2-1.
How many playoff games did you go to? Just one?
Yeah, just that one.
And that was the Kyle Grand Slam game? Or no, that was the one that you watched on your
No,
couch.
that was the Laz Diaz game.
Yeah. The fucking Laz Diaz game. I'll never get over that. I feel like a lot of Red Sox fans have just moved on and they've accepted the well, we weren't supposed to be here narrative, but no. If Laz Diaz calls that a strike, as it was a strike, I truly believe the Red Sox win the World Series that year. I do. I believe that. I was on the phone with you, Coley, when they went up 2-1.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm in danger of now I'm to blame. But after the Red Sox went up 2-1, I had a phone conversation with Dave Portnoy being like, all right, so this is fucking over. If they clinch in Atlanta, can I go? Like, that was a legitimate conversation that we had. Like, all right, they're up 2-1. Probably going to win tomorrow with Nate. Or Nate wasn't starting. He came out of the bullpen. I forget who started game 3. But I was very confident. I was like, all right, this thing, let's wrap it up. So if it ends up being the Braves, because I believe they were up 3-1.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, can we what games are going to be streams, and if they have a chance to clinch while they're in Atlanta, can I go to Atlanta? And he was like, yeah. We were having those conversations. Were they premature? It fucking seems so.
Yeah, but you do have to plan that.
That's how
shit.
you do. Yeah. Maybe not to that extent. Maybe not when it's 2-1 to be like, all right, for the World Series clincher, can I go? But yeah, I just something in me. I usually don't think that way. I'm usually not the we got this thing fucking wrapped up guy. That's not me.
I mean, I believe we set like a record for grand slams hit in an ALCS, and it was like game 3. Like we were. It certainly seemed like things were going our way.
They were going our way.
So yeah, it was tough. It was tough.
You play that series 10 times, Red Sox probably win 8 of them.
Maybe.
Definitely. I mean, I feel like as I'm saying the whole, I'm not usually the Red Sox got this in the bag guy, but 18, actually, I don't know. Like for as dominant as that 18 team was, I thought the Astros were going to beat the Red Sox in the ALCS. I didn't feel confident about that at all. I was like, this team.
You weren't confident when it was 1-1 going back to New York.
No. Fuck no. Yeah, like when fucking like David Price got booed off the mound at Fenway after 2 innings, and fucking Judge took him to dead center. Gary hit a bomb off Erod that went off the fucking House of Blues. I was like, all right, yeah, cool. That game one was sick, but they're kind of pissed off now, and we're going back to Yankee Stadium. Like, that's not good. I didn't feel great about the Yankees series. They didn't lose the game the rest of the way. They lost that first game to Houston, and I was like, ah, shit. Like, at least go down swinging. They didn't lose another game after that. And then once they got to the Dodgers, then I was a little cocky. I was like, this team doesn't have a fucking chance. But then they lost game 3 in 18 innings. And then the next night, when Puig hit that bomb off Eddie, I was like, oh, fuck. Like, this series is tied. I was like, we were just up 2-0, and we were toying with them in game 3. Like this should be a 3-0 series lead, and now we're going to be fucking tied 2-2 going into game 5. I hate that. And then they didn't lose another game.
No.
So, like, I feel like you look back on 18, it's like, yeah, they won 108 games, and they only lost 1 game in each playoff series. But there were points in each playoff series. Maybe not the Houston one. I feel like that was just me thinking that the Astros were better than they really were. But there were points in the Yankee series and in the Dodger series where there were some like, oh, fuck, we might not have this moments.
I mean, if I remember correctly, game 1 against Houston, I think Julio hit a first inning home run. And I think we were up 5-0, and then we just kind of like held on. Or was that the Yankees series? There was a game we went up. I'm pretty sure
Julio did that in game 1.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I think they got the fucking bag beaten out of them in the first game against Houston.
Maybe it was game 2 then. There was a game against Houston. I'm pretty sure, because I believe I was there, where we just got the lead early. The bats went dead, and then we just like held on for dear life. Maybe
they lost 7-2 in game 1.
Okay, so that would have had to have been game 2. What was game 2 score?
7-5.
Yeah, I don't know.
7-5, 8-2, 8-6, 4-1. Yeah. I don't know. I like, in hindsight, being cocky about 2018. Like, that part's fun. But in the moment, I was really only talking my shit during the World Series. Every other point, I was just like gripping my seat, holding on to my ass cheeks. I was not ready for that ride to come to an end and have to deal with the 108 wins, but first round exit. Like, that would have been brutal.
What ball are you more surprised didn't go out? The one Gary
Travis
hit
Shaw.
in game 4?
Travis Shaw.
Or the Stantonian single?
The Stantonian blast?
Yeah.
What was the first option?
The Gary grand slam that was caught on the warning track to end the series.
Oh. So I was at that game.
Oh, I know.
And I for sure thought that it was gone. But from my memory of being there, when the ball was in the air, the stadium was silent. I think I would have panicked.
You might have been blacking out.
Yeah, yeah, I might have just been losing consciousness. But from my recollection, when Gary hit that ball, the stadium went silent. But if he hit that and then there was just instant roars, I think I would have sunk into my seat before the ball got out of the infield. Not that like Yankee fans are the best depth perceivers in the league. They're not. They'll go nuts for a shallow fly ball. But I did find it odd that they didn't erupt when Gary hit that one.
Well,
so yeah,
to be fair,
the Stantonian blast, I thought it was a home run.
We had just seen him a week prior hit like 7 home runs.
Yeah.
The exact same swing. So we were like, here we go.
Yeah.
And then like that, I like the more I've watched it, because I still go back and watch it like once a week because the call's so funny.
What did I do wrong?
I think it probably should have been caught. Like I think it should have been out. It wasn't that high up the wall. Like it barely
Really?
hit the top of the scoreboard.
Well, he did it twice. Stanton, when he gets one, you know it because he'll watch it. He'll pose for it. So the Stantonian blast, he did that.
Oh yeah.
And then on the play where Aaron Judge gets thrown out at home plate and the ball is in Plawecki's glove before Judge even enters the frame, that was another one where Stanton fucking squared up a ball and watched it and then realizes, fuck, that's not a home run. And he starts running and it's another Stantonian blast.
And then
He did that twice.
And then he did homer to end the game.
He did, yeah, he got one.
Oh man,
Bum. That dude,
he's the best player on the team.
he's the best player on the team, but like the fact that it takes that Herculean effort, and I feel bad for him. I feel bad for him.
Definitely.
Like, you think getting traded to the Yankees is going to result in a guy just wanted a chance to win, and he's had anything but that. Do you remember that, Pat?
Oh yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, you did. Stantonian Blast. They're putting out T-shirts now.
Stantonian blast.
Yeah.
What do you think would
Who's
sell
buying
more?
that?
Who do you think would sell more? That or the Big Sam Sushi T-shirts?
Oh,
Big Sam's and a
Big
blowout.
Sam's. We're gonna, if I ever
Red
get
Sox
a job,
fans are the ones who would buy Stantonian blast.
that's what I'm saying. And like, would you want that?
No.
You'd look like a real asshole if you were wearing that to a Red Sox Yankees game at Fenway, and then Stan just hits one onto the Mass Pike. It's like now you're just wearing a T-shirt that says Stantonian Blast on it, but you're supposed to not like Stanton. Doesn't make sense.
If we had won the World Series, I think that shirt plays. Because even if he hits a home run, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what they do now. Like Yankees fans celebrate in June when they take 2 out of 3. Like that's their World Series now.
Mm-hmm.
It has been for some time. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's a tough scene. So we can't be celebrating wild card victories at home. Like sure, it's very funny that they had a 2-game lead on the wild card going into the last weekend of the season and they blew that and they had to play a road game. Very funny for sure. Garrett Cole probably wins at home because he doesn't have people being mean to him with our close bullpens during his warm-up. Very funny that they choked away like that. Very funny that they lost and like that game was over immediately. That game at no point was close. Kyle hit that fucking tank and started doing the lambada down the first baseline, and it was like,
Was Bogarts first or Schwarber?
I think Xander was. Xander was immediately, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
And then I think Kyle was not far after.
So I think when Kyle hit it, I think it was to make it like 3-0, but it felt like 20-0.
Correct. Yeah. Well, because he celebrated like it was like a walk-off, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Because I remember we were at the sportsbook, download the Barstool Sportsbook app, and I had bet on Schwarber to homer and win. And that was, when he hit that, I was like, oh, well, this is cashed. Like,
Cashed,
and it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was just that was a weird game because like things are going too well. And if you recall, the Yankees straight up fucked the Red Sox butts in that series at the end of the season. It just seemed like a full-on momentum shift where, the Yankees were not performing to their capabilities all year long. And then you go into that, the fact that the Red Sox even hosted the wild card game, the way that like the second half of their season went is insane.
Not even the second half. They looked terrible against the Nationals. They did not look good against. I mean, Julio just runs out to right field. His leg falls off.
Yeah.
We had to come back, and
thank God for Rafael Devers.
For sure. And we lost to the fucking Orioles the series before that. Like it did not look great heading into that playoff game.
The Orioles won the division in 2014, though.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They are the division champs.
No doubt.
No doubt.
And then it was like we beat the Yankees, and everyone was like, "Oh, well, you're gonna play Tampa," and then we fucking housed them.
Yeah, that was kind of. I picked the Red Sox in 4. I saw the path, but that one made more sense. Oddly enough, I think I felt more confident against a 100-win Tampa team with an inferior Red Sox team than I did with a 100-win Yankee team against a more dominant Red Sox team. Like the divisions, I felt more confident in the 2021 division series against Tampa than I did against the 2018 Yankees division series.
Well, there's less on the line.
Mm.
If we had lost to Tampa, no one would have cared. No one. It would have sucked in the moment. Like, it would have been a waste, but we would have been like, oh, man, this is hanging over our heads. If we had won 108 games and then got eliminated by the Yankees, like, yeah, we're still not over that.
I mean, they still won 100 games that year.
Sure. But they were worse.
Yeah.
Like, when's the last time? 2003 was the last time we've lost to the Yankees in the postseason.
2004. Like a series or a game?
A series.
Yeah, because I don't think they've lost a game to them in a long time.
They lost in 18. We just
they did. Yeah. 2003 was the last time they lost a series.
Right. So I don't want that to stop anytime soon. Like, that's a long that's 20 years pretty much.
I was a freshman in high school the last time the Red Sox lost a series.
Yeah, I know we don't see them in the postseason every year, but Jesus Christ. If you told a Yankee fan in 2003, hey, this is the last time you're going to beat the Red Sox in the playoffs in 20 years, that Yankee fan would just assume, like, oh, they were in 5th place every year for the next 20 years, like the Red Sox were.
It's like, oh, yeah, we didn't match up.
Yeah, nope.
Damn. That's
It
tough.
is kind of like they strut into the playoffs. They like beat the A's or the Twins and like start thumping their chest, and then they play literally anyone else and they get their teeth kicked in every year.
I think Dave had a tweet about that during the wild card game where he was just like, it's just so funny that the Yankees can't beat anybody. Like
Anybody.
They certainly can't beat the Red Sox anymore.
No.
But damn.
Like they had their chance, and then Chapman threw a dick high fastball to Jose Altuve, and that was that.
See, I didn't even know where you were going with that because like Chapman has become the most notorious playoff. Like, he's one of the highest paid relief pitchers of all time, one of the most dominant pitchers we've ever seen in the history of baseball. But he also is like single-handedly responsible for like every playoff loss.
For the Yankees, for the Cubs. For the Cubs, like Rivera.
He gave up the home run to Rajai Davis in Game 7.
Sure, he'd pitched like multiple innings for like they used him every game for like 2 innings. Like
they were like, we're not re-signing this guy, so whatever fucking damage you do to your shoulder, not our fucking problem.
Yeah, they also didn't really have anyone else, so they were like, you're just gonna keep going.
Yeah, we're trying to win this World Series, dude.
Like I'm sure his ERA was still crazy low, even with that Rajai Davis home run.
Yeah. But he gave up the home run to Mike Brasso in 2020.
Well, I mean, who among us hasn't
given up a home run to Mike Brasso?
Right.
Have you, Pat?
No.
Okay. Something wrong today, Pat?
No. Feel great. Feel excited.
Do you feel good?
Fresh cup of coffee.
Oh, look at that.
He had 11 strikeouts in 7.2 innings in the World Series that year.
It's pretty good.
3 earned runs over like 7.2. So, and was the Rajai, it wasn't a solo home run, right?
No, I don't believe so. Maybe 2-run.
Yeah, so pretty much all of them came on that one swing. Like, yeah, that's pretty fucking dominant for a guy who pitched in 5 of 7 games. And I assume the other 2 were the ones Cleveland won, so they just didn't put him in.
Good times.
You know?
Yeah, it's been a long time. Like if like we the man who gave up the home run that led to the Red Sox losing a playoff series to the Yankees, the most recent time that happened, we just talked to him. He's going to play a golf tournament because he's been retired for a decade now.
I did want to say too, it's like a weird thing to say because I don't know how he feels about it even these 19 years later, but like him giving up that home run to Aaron Boone, and I know I've said it on this show before, is the best thing that's happened to any of us. Maybe not specifically him, he might not feel that way, but boy oh boy has that only led to great things for us and terrible things for them. Like he's still their manager, right? Or no, now
Correct.
he's not.
No, he is. He is.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's crazy.
Like
Like
a
it's
game
insane.
an extension and a race.
Yeah, insane that I mean, all year people were calling like Cashman was like, "Yeah, this guy's gonna go," and then they gave him a new contract. Like I was so convinced he was finally fired because of how much they underperformed. And no, I was wrong. I apologize. They gave him a new contract because he hit 1 home run once.
He did.
And they didn't win that World Series. So like that, truly the best thing that's ever happened to the Boston Red Sox was that home run.
I bet you. I mean, we can ask Tim the next time he comes on, but I feel like he wouldn't be too far on the opposite end of the spectrum from your line of thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure being the guy, I mean, Pat knows giving up home runs is never a good feeling. Giving up one
terrible
in that scenario, I mean, that had to have been the longest walk off of a mound of his career. Like, I'm sure that took 3 hours in his mind to get back to the dugout. Yeah. But man, oh man, the Red Sox were like, all right, we're not fucking putting up with this shit anymore. And the Yankees were like, that we're good. This guy's going to coach us for decades. We're never going to win anything of importance ever again. And we're good. We're going to tear down our iconic stadium and build a place everyone hates. It's been nothing but good things for me and terrible things for them since that ball left his hand.
I think one of the better parts about that home run, the Aaron Boone home run, no one blamed Wake.
No.
Like the next year, no one was like, "Oh, this motherfucker," and no one did that. Like no one, he did not get the Buckner treatment, and like of course they won the World Series the following year, but even in this like the regular season in 2004, no one was giving him any grief for the year prior.
Right. I mean, he's a knuckleball pitcher. It's not like he came in and grooved 92 right down the dick. Like he threw a knuckleball. It didn't really knuckle.
I mean, the scapegoat was Grady Little, and they fired him.
For sure.
Like, didn't Boone ambush him too?
Yeah, I think it was first pitch. Yeah,
first. Oh yeah. I was Joe Buck on the call, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Buck and McCarver. He hadn't even said welcome back like from commercial yet, and the ball was in the stands, and he was like, "Well, all right, see you guys the next week, I guess."
Yeah. Listen, I wasn't a very good pitcher, but the only thing I cared about in the scouting report was if they swung first pitch or not. Because once you got into the at bat, you can read him, you can see things, what he's looking for, what you're looking for. That first pitch is just a guess. If the guy is looking for a fastball, groove down the dick, or if he's not swinging at all. It was an absolute guess. So that's all I wanted to know.
What was like the highest first pitch swing rate that you've seen?
If you saw like in the 40 or 50%, it was pretty high. and you knew the guy was probably going up there. There was guys in the minor leagues that felt like they swung like 90% of the time at the first pitch.
Do they have that kind of data on minor leaguers?
No, not like they do in the big leagues. But like, I remember Terrence Gore. I don't know if he's still around.
Yes.
He is.
Yeah, just call up the run.
Hasn't he won the last 3 World Series?
He might have, but he is not a good hitter in any respect. And that's all he did was he wanted to get in there and swing the first pitch, get out of the box, and just put pressure on the defense to throw him out. He did well,
which makes sense.
Yeah.
Interesting. I just can't see that approach really playing too much in your favor against a knuckleball pitcher. Because it's like, even if you guess right on a knuckleball, you still don't know what the fuck it's going to do.
But you get to think, like, you're in a huge game. You don't want to think against a knuckleball pitcher.
No.
I mean, you're not going to be able to. He's probably throwing the knuckleball. Like, there's no real thinking game here. You're just hoping to get a bad one.
Or you're just hoping to guess right and barrel one.
Yeah.
Gore's only won 2. I just feel like he's only in the playoffs to try and steal bases. He's 0 for playoffs in his life. Never got a hit.
Oh, I thought you meant he's never stole a bag.
No, he's gotten at bats. He hasn't even stolen that many bases. He's only stolen 5, which is kind of insane. But yeah, 0 for 2, 3 runs scored, 2 rings. Pretty good.
It's pretty fresh, don't you think?
Oh yeah, when he comes into the game in those late innings.
How fresh, Coley?
Well, it's like they have that little. I know you watch the 04 DVDs and stuff all the time. When Millar's like, you gotta get my slow butt off first, and Dave Roberts comes trotting in, and they give a little handshake. You know what Kevin Millar's saying when he sees Dave Roberts? He's like, oh, whew, hello, fresh. He's talking about his legs.
He's talking. Yeah.
But we're not.
Is. No, we're not talking about that.
What are we talking about? Because Pat doesn't know.
Pat, do you know what we're talking about?
No.
You don't? It's interesting. Because what we're talking about right now is, holy shit, this ad read is very detailed. The new year is a great time to focus on what's most important to you, Pat. Whether it's saving money by ordering less takeout, learning to cook. Can you cook, Pat?
Actually, I've gotten better over the years.
Yeah, I bet you have. Or prioritizing your wellness, which Pat, I don't know if he's been doing that with all the alcohol that he's been drinking. HelloFresh is here to help with endless options to make cooking at home simple and enjoyable. HelloFresh delivers pre-portioned ingredients to your door, including farm fresh produce that arrives within a week, so you get convenience without skimping on quality. Skip the trip to the grocery store, saving you the wait in long holiday lines and ensuring you don't waste money on excess food. HelloFresh cuts back on time spent in the kitchen, so you can spend it on your other resolutions with meals ready in about 30 minutes or less. Plus, quick and easy meals, including 20-minute recipes and low prep and easy cleanup options, provide an even faster route to putting food on the table. And don't forget about dessert. What's Big Sam's favorite dessert, Pat?
He has a Big Sam cheesecake.
Oh, that's perfect, because you could satisfy your sweet tooth with seasonal limited time goodies like Dunkaroos cookie dough or Vanilla Delight cheesecake. Holy shit. HelloFresh is 72% cheaper than a restaurant meal of the same quality, and you can save on average over $65 per month when you order HelloFresh instead of grocery shopping. That's more money to put towards those other 2022 goals of yours. HelloFresh offers 50 menu and market items to choose from every week, including veggie, calorie smart, family friendly, and gourmet options, providing plenty of variety. Recipes like hibachi, sweet soy bavette steak, and shrimp. Bring restaurant quality meals right to your kitchen, while their white cheddar Wonder Burgers make it easier than ever to skip the takeout. HelloFresh offers the flexibility you need to easily customize your order online or in the app. Easily change your food delivery day, food preferences, and plan size, or skip a week whenever you need to. Wow. All you got to do right now, HelloFresh.com/Section16 and use the promo code Section16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. That is HelloFresh.com/Section16 and use the promo code Section16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. Wow. Do they have a lot of dessert options at Big Sam's?
Tons. You know, Big Sam would never skimp out on that.
Right. You calling him fat?
No, he just has a very plentiful menu.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Mm. Is there a full bar at Big Sam's or
full bar?
Mm-hmm. What's his drink of choice?
Big Sam's.
Mm-hmm.
He likes a Big Sam martini.
Oh, he has his own martini.
Mm-hmm. The Big Sam.
The Big Sam.
The Big Sam.
What is what's in the Big Sam?
He likes Grey Goose vodka in his martini.
Okay.
No free ads though.
Right. What the fuck was that, Pat?
It was I can't say the name if you guys know what I'm talking about. It's the devices from Amazon that you can't say the things. Yeah.
The Alexa.
Yeah, so you can say it. I can't say it.
Got it.
Otherwise, we'll have another issue.
Right. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
We should do a live show at Big Sam's.
Yeah, we should.
What do you think out of Green Rock, McSwilly's, and Big Sam's? Who has like the best setup to do a live show?
Setup wise, Big Swilly's. I think it's Big Swilly's.
you just combine Big Sam's and McSwilly's.
Yes.
Big Swilly's.
McSwilly's is the best setup. Green Rock gets the biggest crowd. Big Sam's, not quite the setup you need. Big Sam's is 2 different rooms.
Okay, so it's like, more of like a restaurant.
It is, yeah. Big Sam. I mean, Big Sam doesn't put out just some cheesy bar. You know,
right.
Big Sam is.
Right. You know, Big Sam. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I'm sure at some point, assuming that there is a baseball season, I don't know. Like we talked about with Tim. Can I promise you a baseball season? No. Do I feel good about there being a baseball season? Yeah. Do I feel good about there being spring training? Not really. Do I feel confident in the season starting on time? At this point, not entirely. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see.
Coley, what do you got going on over there?
Everyone in my house is sick, so that's fun.
What, they get the sniffles?
Yeah, just like I feel like it's been forgotten due to, I don't know if you guys watch the news, COVID. People forget like just being regular sick is horrible. Absolutely horrible. Garbage.
That was me the last week. I was just regular sick the last week.
So when people are like, oh, this variant is just the flu, like, I don't want the flu. I don't want any illness. Like, I wake up, my throat's sore. I gotta blow my nose all the fucking time. I've got a mild cough. I've tested negative twice the past 3 days, so it doesn't appear to be that. It's just a regular cold, and it fucking stinks. Like, If COVID wasn't a thing, I wouldn't be as nervous, but it would still be annoying.
Yeah, that was my past way. I think yesterday was like the first day that I felt like, okay. But I got a cold, and I was like, that was the first time that I had been sick since the pandemic started.
Right.
I don't know how that happened because I'm usually very just like sick all the time. Like that's what I do. I just get sick. But I got a cold and I like didn't believe it. I almost threw the challenge flag. I was like, I don't get sick anymore. That's not something I do. That's not what we're about. We don't get sick. But I did. And it was a humbling experience. I thought for sure that like if I didn't get a cold for literally 2 years. Wait.
Yeah.
Right? If the last time I got sick was December of 2019. So yeah, over 2 years. Barely. But I was like, all right, if my body hasn't been sick in 2 years, then that first time that I get a cold, it's going to be a nightmare because my body's just not used to it. It wasn't shit. It was a very mild cold.
Yeah, same with mine now, but it's still annoying. Like, so I got back late Friday night, basically Saturday. Saturday, my daughter got sick. Sunday, some of my pipes froze. Monday, we didn't have electricity until 3 in the afternoon. And then today, so far, has been the best day, but I'm sick. So that's been the best day I've had since I've got back. Terrible. Not a fun 4-day stretch.
No. I mean, well, thank you for your service, like going to Cuba and doing all that.
Yeah, no, I mean, unaffiliated, unofficial, unpaid, but it needed to be done. I mean, it had to be done. But I do dominate the skies yet again.
No, I knew that. I had no doubt that you were gonna conquer that experience.
Well, on the way there, it was like I didn't fly for years up until I went to Puerto Rico, and then I was flying all over the place. I mean, Chris Hill wouldn't even know who I was if it weren't for me dominating the skies and coming down to Florida. So I got into a rhythm where I was flying like, it felt like all the time. Big flights, short flights. Like you couldn't get me out of the sky. And then the pandemic happened and it was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to fly again. I certainly didn't trust, like pilots hadn't taken that much time off in their entire careers. The people fixing, like who maintained the planes weren't getting their proper reps. Like it was the anticipation for our flight to Cuba was nerve wracking. The way back, I basically flew the thing.
So what is your greatest fear now?
Probably spiders.
Spiders. Pat?
Buried alive.
That's a good one.
I don't think you know enough about spiders if you think buried alive is a good one, but spiders isn't.
I mean, I'm not personally afraid of spiders.
Do you know how many spiders there are?
Millions. Billions.
Buddy.
How many spiders are there?
Let's get the official number.
Like you mean like species?
No. Spiders.
Is there a spider census?
There are 2.8 million spiders per one person.
What?
Jeez.
Yeah. There are quadrillions of spiders. There are, I believe the number is right now in the room you're in, there are 8 spiders.
Nah. No spiders.
That's the thing with spiders. Spiders, the only reason they're not atop the food chain, they got no teamwork. They're all lone wolves. They get organized. We're fucked. fucked. That's why I don't kill them. When the day of reckoning comes, they'll be like, leave him.
I mean, I don't think there's any spiders in this room. Where are they then?
I mean, that's the thing with spiders.
What about them?
They can be anywhere. Like they get up in their corners. They get in your closet. They get in your fucking drawers. Like they're everywhere. Some of them are friendly guys. Some of them are just out there living their lives, climbing up and down spouts.
Yeah.
Others, though, you get a brown recluse or what's it?
None of those guys are chilling in Saugus, though.
The Brazilian wandering spider, like
Yeah. I don't have to worry about any of that. Most of the spiders that I've ever encountered have just like dapped me up and keep it moving.
Hey,
for now.
Fun story about brown recluse. I've been bitten by one before.
Oh yeah, how was that?
Not a great experience. Down Hickory, North Carolina. Minor leagues playing for the Greenville Drive. And woke up middle of the night. My arm hurt. And it's like, whatever. I'll go back to sleep. I went to sleep. And then BJ was my roommate. And woke up in the morning. Arm hurt a lot more. And I go, hey BJ, can you look at the back of my arm here? And he's like, you have a hole in your arm.
What?
Mm-hmm. So, and you know how BJ is, pure panic mode.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude.
So I go to the field and I'm supposed to pitch that day. I get scratched because the trainer, Mackenzie, sends a picture of it to Boston because she doesn't know what the fuck it is. And the people from Boston said he needs to go to the emergency room to get anti-venom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If you ever don't do it, if you're like, you don't like weird pictures, but if you ever look at like brown recluse bites that go left untreated, and like the venom just continues to eat everything, you just like lose your arm.
Yeah, they don't fuck around.
Yeah. I still have a scar from it back of my tricep on my left arm.
That's why there's like you were just asleep, minding your business. You didn't go up to him and do anything. He just came over and bit you middle of the night, walked away, had a nice little snack. Yeah. Injected you with venom. Like people are afraid of snakes. I get it. They're weird. The sign of the devil, things like that. You're not really, you have to actively go out and seek a snake. Spiders, they'll seek you out.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Do you have a picture of this?
Definitely not anymore. I have to take my shirt off in order to show you the scar on it. And honestly, when this type of I'd have to like take a picture because the scar is fading. It's been almost 10 years now. That was 2013 that it happened.
And this is where does this rank Coley of like the most poisonous, venomous spiders?
Brown recluse, most poisonous spider.
Like, is it cracking the top 10?
So the Brazilian wandering spider is number 1. Let's see. I got, for some reason, the list is the 9 deadliest. So yeah, brown recluse is 9.
Top 10.
Top 10.
Yeah.
Count
it. Number 8 is Brazilian wandering spider. So there, and I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the Brazilian wandering spider kills you in a very hilarious and terrifying way. Their venom causes your blood to go crazy, where your dick gets hard and explodes.
What?
Yeah, like you get like your blood's pumping that hard that your cock just blasts right off your body.
What?
Yeah, they're a real problem.
What spider is this?
That's the Brazilian wandering spider.
Where are they most commonly found? Brazil?
So yeah, you would think Brazil. However,
fuck. Don't be sorry.
The way Brazilian wandering spiders get you, because they will get you. Looking at you, Jake. They hang out in bananas. So they lay their eggs in bananas, and that's how they traverse the world. There are pictures on Google you'll see, some doctored, some real. You'll just like see a bag of bananas and there will just be a big fucking Brazilian wandering spider hanging out in there. Like Imagine you just reach for some Nans, especially you, protein boy, and you just
haven't had a banana in probably close to 25 years.
And now you won't.
No, I definitely won't.
Number 7, the yellow sac spider. Doesn't sound great.
I mean, how could you be worse than a spider that makes your dick explode?
I'm just talking about the level of poison per spider. Then you got the wolf spider. So that's tough.
I mean, I feel like in Sagas, we just have the most basic spiders. Like, we're not dealing with any spiders that could kill you in Sagas.
You would hope. Number 5 is the black widow. The black widow is responsible for more than 2,500 visits to poison control every year in the U.S.
I want to know who's on the Black Widow's like PR team, because if you're the number 5 most deadliest spider, you're not even like top 3. Like, you're not even really contending for a championship. But yet,
it's not
when everyone talks about venomous spiders, Black Widow always comes up first.
It's not even the top 2 most poisonous widow spider. Because number 4 is the brown widow. And number 3 is the red widow.
Interesting.
All a tough scene. Number 2 is the red back spider. It's not widespread. It's native to Australia. It's got to Belgium and Japan through grape exports. That's what I'm talking about. Like, these motherfuckers will just hide out in some produce and then just bite your dick off. And then number 1 is the funnel web spider, which he looks like the baddest mamma jamma of them. No disrespect to the other 8 spiders we've talked about here today, but number 1 for sure looks like number 1 for a reason. Like, the other ones look.
What is it called?
The funnel web spider.
Is he Australian?
Oh yeah, I don't want to fuck with that.
He's he seems to be everywhere.
Huh.
Several human deaths from the bites of these. They're aggressive too. Like, they're about it. They're about that life.
They're about it.
They're brown, bulky spiders that are feared in southern and eastern Australia because of their venomous bites. Several human deaths from the bites from these aggressive spiders have been recorded in the Sydney area since the 1920s. An antidote to the main toxin in their venom has been developed, which is effective if administered soon after they've been bitten. So, do not
keep that in your house.
Right. Like, this is why, again, if they weren't all secret agents working solo jobs, they ever get together and form a plan, we're done. Done.
On average, 7 people in the United States die each year as a result of a spider bite. 7. Come on. 7? How dumb do you have to be to die from a spider bite? Like, I'm surprised Pat didn't die. I mean, come on. Like, what do you mean, come on? Like, if you get bit by a spider and it's behind you and the only set of eyes that you have is BJ, the odds of landing the plane on spider bite, not strong. Like, the fact that you were able to get to an emergency room and do the anti-venom thing, like, BJ probably, like, there's no way he suggested spider bite. Did he?
No.
Okay.
We actually had to, like I said, send a patient to Boston to get that suggestion.
Right. Yeah, like, what if he just said, like, yeah, you must have just fucking cut yourself, and then next thing you know, your fucking really arm falls off.
My arm, like, really hurt. So there wasn't, like, I was going to be like, oh, okay, BJ says it's cool, so I'm just not going to do anything about it. Like, I was getting it checked out regardless of BJ's,
prognosis,
medical opinion.
That's not where the train ends.
Did they tell you that those spiders were common there?
I heard that they're more common down there, but I didn't know anything how common they are. In that we didn't say the best hotels, so
I think they're big time woods guys.
I like to be by themselves based off the name, so Yeah.
That's what I mean. If they were the brown social spiders,
Oh shit.
fucked.
I don't believe that whole 8 spiders per room thing.
I think it's just like an average thing.
Yeah.
Like you might
They're not actually
have
all in the rooms.
Well, that I mean, if it's an average, then that means that there's some rooms where there's like 50 spiders.
Could be.
correct. Yeah.
That's not
My
true.
garage has a ton of spiders.
Especially
Terrifying.
in Maine.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
When I lived in Billerica, my bedroom had, on average, 100 spiders.
Right.
Like I would go into my shower in the morning, and there would just be a fucking spider web with a big ass spider, and then you would go in the closet, and there would be spiders everywhere. Like when we rented the house, they didn't use the basement. So like the spiders were just throwing a fucking party down there because there was not normal human activity going on down there for them to clean it out and then stay out. So I put my bedroom down there, and just every fucking corner of that room had spiders in it. And I mean, to my credit, didn't really fucking care. I was just like, ah, God, no fucking spider. You go in the closet. I would go get my suit out of the closet for Comcast and have to like just whack the spiders out of it before I go to do some TV. Yeah.
I believe, and obviously they didn't hit the top 9. I believe daddy longlegs are super venomous. They just can't pierce our skin at all.
I had heard that as well. I just didn't know and I was going to bring it up, but I didn't know if it was like one of those things people tell you in middle school and it's not really accurate.
Right. Well, and again, we'll look it up.
I mean, that's
Well,
bizarre. They're venomous, but they can't put their venom inside you.
No, it's a myth for sure.
It's a myth.
Yeah.
Myth.
I don't want to be passing along falsified
Correct.
spider information on Section 10. Not something we should be doing. Especially just like slandering the reputation of innocent spiders as well. Can't be good.
No.
You don't know who's friends with who.
Mm-mm.
I feel like you're not. I mean, I guess after almost dying from one, I was gonna say I can't imagine that you would be afraid of spiders, Pat.
I'm not afraid of spiders, no. I don't like them. They're not like I'm not being like, hey, guys, let's go hang out. But like, yeah, no, I'm not. I mean, they're small. I can kill them.
Are you more afraid now?
No, well, I didn't know that many spiders existed.
Mm-hmm.
So while you guys were chit-chatting, I did think about, could I take on 2.8 million spiders myself?
No.
The problem is, even if I could, I certainly know people that can't, which means that my number has to go up. So if they do ever become social spiders, we could be in some trouble.
Fucked.
I mean,
The thing is,
Coley
we
basically
could outsmart them though.
Coley made up a number. Like that's not like quadrillion. Like that's not even a real
Like
thing.
quadrillion. Quadrillion's
Yeah, that's not real. It's 2.4 quadrillion spiders. Like there's so many spiders that you couldn't even imagine what that would look like. Where are they all at? If there's that many, why don't we see them all the time?
They're not social. I don't know what you don't understand.
What does that mean though? Where do they hide?
You have to imagine a large majority of these are in like the Amazon rainforest and in Australia.
Yeah, Australia for sure.
You know, they're not all in Saugus.
What the fuck what is Australia's problem that they're just like harboring all these spiders
They're
there?
the worst.
There's a lot of nothing in Australia. Most of Australia is not populated.
Jared, do you know how Australia got populated?
Wasn't it like they were sending prisoners there? It was supposed to be just prisoner island. And they just started fucking and started a whole country.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's an interesting concept.
Yes, it is.
Pat's fear is getting buried alive.
Very much so.
I mean, that just seems weird. Like, Coley's fear is spiders. Pat's fear is not spiders, even though a spider made an attempt to kill you. Like, that spider, that was not a mistake. That spider tried to kill you.
Trying to murder me.
Was it your right arm?
Left.
Imagine you get bit by a fucking spider and it just makes your arm fall off when you're a pitcher that can throw 100 miles an hour. That would be a tough blow.
That would be a tough blow.
I wonder how long that process takes.
I think quite a bit.
For it to fall off?
I guess it could technically fall off if the venom eats like right here. And what my understanding is that the venom just eats everything. So it's not like necessarily a fall off situation. It's more of it's getting eaten situation.
Yeah, I don't like that can happen in the United States.
No. Hickory, North Carolina, Crown Plaza. Funny story. My now ex-girlfriend, when we first started talking, she was on a business vacation. I was like, oh, yeah, like, she said she was staying in Charlotte. Like, oh, there's this town. And I told her the story. She's like, I'm actually staying outside of Charlotte in a small town named Hickory. I was like, what kind of hotel? It's like Crown Plaza. I go, that's where that happened.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's tough.
I can't imagine that she was thrilled to learn that.
No, not thrilled.
I don't know what my fear is. Coley, what am I afraid of?
Probably at this point going bald.
Yeah, but I feel like if I've made it to 32 and my hairline is immaculate and I'm not balding in the back, then I'm pretty much good.
For sure. I just think it's become tied to your identity at this point.
Which is weird because I didn't have hair for the first 30 years of my life.
Yeah.
And now I don't remember what it was like before that.
Great decision.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
What a game changer.
Game changer.
It really has. It's so weird. What a weird thing to just flip a switch and be able to do.
That's what you do, though. You find a good decision, you flip the switch immediately. There's no dilly-dallying.
I've said this a multitude of times, but I'm really disappointed in my friends for not saying something sooner. I mean, no one said anything. I just kind of did it.
I don't think I knew you at the time.
No,
I think,
did.
you started hanging around with me, and that's when I was like a Brazilian soccer star. And I had like blonde hair, and it was super long. And you were like, well, if this asshole can do it, I could do that.
Yeah. I think it's just like the Red Sox won the World Series in 2018 and then the offseason hit. I was like, I don't feel like getting a fucking haircut. I didn't feel like doing anything after that. I was so tired after that World Series. I was just like, I'm not going to fucking move for 2 months. And that included going to the barber. So it just happened. It wasn't even really a decision. 15 quadrillion spiders.
2.8 per person. Yeah, Pat's right. Like they go through your grandma quickly, and now you got 5'6" on your ass, and it's like, boy.
Yeah, what are you gonna do about that?
Nothing.
No, maybe handle 3. You can't handle 5'6".
No, not 5'6".
No.
You have to like lead them all into a gymnasium, and then blow up the gymnasium.
Okay.
Okay. I follow. How would you get them in the gymnasium? What are spiders like?
Well, maybe they're coming after you. They're like us 4, and we get our buddies, and we go, guys, let's all meet up at the local gymnasium, while they're chasing us.
Now hold on. Do you think in this world where the spiders are actively seeking us out, we've got breaks where we can talk and plan?
No, we're preemptively planning now.
We are. The rest of the world's fucked. They don't see this coming at all.
No.
Like we weren't prepared. We were way more prepared for COVID than we are for the great reckoning of.
Damn. I guess I just never really thought about it like that.
And imagine, I mean, we've talked about it. They're hanging out in trees. Imagine if they get the bees on their side. Like now,
that's what I was gonna say for my fear. Like I don't fuck with like hornets and stuff like that.
Hornets are a real problem.
Yeah, hornets are the assholes of the insect world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do they do?
Murder.
Yeah, they're homicidal maniacs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Another big problem, and they are kind of in lockstep. Like they already have the infrastructure. So if they can just get the numbers that the spiders possess with the infrastructure they already have, we're out of here in 3.
What
Clean
infrastructure do they have?
I mean, they've got a whole system. The bees do. They've got a central figurehead. They've got the people right below her, and then they've got the workers. They've very much got a chessboard working over there.
I feel like bees are cool.
Okay.
Like bees aren't trying to cause problems. Hornets want the smoke. Bees are just like, man, they're just like people from Texas. It's like, yeah, I have a gun, but I'm only gonna use it for protection. Like if you piss me off, I'll shoot you, but I'm really just trying to make a harder and living down here. Hornets, that's more like Chicago, where it's like, I'm gonna shoot you for no fucking reason. And then there's wasps, which I'm not sure where they fall in.
I think they lean more hornet than bee.
All right, so then I'm out on wasps too. But I don't know that wasps have a bad reputation.
Let's figure it out.
I don't think they have a good one.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're in that family, I feel like bees. I feel like because of the behavior of hornets, bees get a bad rap because it's like, well, you're like the cousin of the wasp or the hornets, and like hornets are fucking assholes, agitators, and then bees are just like, yeah, just because we can doesn't mean that we do. We're just trying to make honey. We're trying, like, without bees, the whole ecosystem goes to shit. Like you need us, and we're just working over here.
Wasps are a bad scene.
They're a bad scene.
Yeah, hornets are wasps, so they're tough.
Yeah.
What do hornets do? Like, what is their purpose? Like, they obviously have nothing to do with honey and pollinating.
Let's see. Doesn't look like they do much. Yeah, I think they're just dickheads.
They just fly around and piss people off and cause problems.
Yeah. And other animals, like the other insects, they're just fucking them up. They kill honeybees, so they're actively
They're part of the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, big problem.
Why do they kill bees?
They're bullies.
I feel like bees are not aggressive. Like, more often than not, if you get stung by a bee, it's because they feel threatened by you because you probably did something to intimidate them, whether knowingly or unknowingly.
Mm.
Bees are not just like all right, drop the gloves. They're not doing that.
That's a really good point, Jared.
Thank you.
Hey, you see a bumblebee, one of those fat Sams floating around.
Yeah.
What a treat.
Yeah, they're jolly. I mean, imagine being responsible for. I mean, you're at the ground level of sustaining life on this planet to some degree, and you're just a fat, jolly piece of shit, just going to work every day, just humming around, and like you're just happy. You're happy to be a little worker bee. And then your relative, you got this asshole, wasp or hornet, and they're just like, hey, what's up, man? Like, you having fun working? Fucking shank you. Why? Why?
Probably because they weren't hugged as kids.
We need to hug wasps more?
I just think like
Wasps.
We've been laying.
What is it?
I said parent wasps need to hug more, not us.
Yeah,
Right.
correct.
Parent
It starts at home.
Yeah, it starts at home. Like, yeah.
Starts
Like,
at the hive.
Like if we said Jared didn't get hugged enough as a kid, which obviously he did. Ellen did a great job as well as Papa Carabas. But like it wouldn't make you feel better if like a parent wasp came over and hugged you, and that wouldn't make you grow up better. So us hugging a baby wasp wouldn't do anything. We need the parents to step up.
Starts at home.
We need the parents to step up. We do. Hey, at the end of the day, these parent wasps out there that are probably part of the problem themselves, right? Like if you're a parent wasp, that means like, yo, you're one of those older generations. Like when people make excuses for their racist grandparents, they're like, oh, it was just a different time. It was just a different time, you know? But it's like, all right, if you're a wasp that likes to kill bees, you need to look at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
What is that? A fucking elk, dude?
Imagine you grew up watching your parents just constantly murder and maim. Like you would be the same way. That's what's happening in the wasp community.
That is. And someone needed to address it. I'm glad we got to that today.
Yeah.
Because at first I didn't think we were going to get there.
No, that's number one problem in facing the wasp community today.
Right.
It needs to be talked about.
We need to have more, I guess, like wasp or hornet, like community centers.
Yeah.
For kids.
That's where it starts. Needs some funding.
Yeah.
Politicians.
Yeah. Like how we had the DARE program. We need that for hornets. Because no one's really talking about like the drug usage within the hornet community either.
Oh, it's rampant.
It is. Yeah.
Rampant.
They have a real problem with drug use. And I feel like that's leading to a lot of crime.
No doubt.
So we're going to try and get the drugs out the hive.
It's a great name for the movement.
Revive the hive.
Revive the hive. Thank you, Coley. Revive the hive. And I feel like that solves a lot of problems.
Ton of problems.
Isn't the overall population of bees decreasing?
It was. I don't know if we got a hold on that. Bees were dying at an alarming rate.
What was the cause of that?
Wasps. And the parent wasps in particular.
Yes. I mean, it starts at the top.
Starts at the top.
So this is from June 23rd, 2021. Honeybees are still dying at high rates. So we lost 45% of the bee population. Which is
What are they attributing that to?
simply too many bees.
Bless you, Coley.
Thank you. I'm not seeing a great reason. Parasites. A lot of parasites.
Parasites are killing bees now too?
Oh, they've always been killing bees. There's still a lot of issues that are left unaddressed. It seems we're running to stand still because beekeepers are changing their practices, and yet we still don't see a clear improvement in their loss rate. I mean, we really just need the beekeepers to figure it the fuck out.
I mean,
Like,
Dallas is a beekeeper.
Half of your job, half of the title of your job is keep, and they are losing bees, about half the bees every year.
Can't happen.
This is Dallas's fault.
Researchers say the high losses were in part because more bees died throughout the year. Yeah, no shit.
Do we come out with like a like a Revive the Hive charity?
I mean, I know Honey Nut Cheerios took the bee off the box for a while.
Why?
Because it was
Wasps.
dying.
Do they think that helps?
They were trying to show people, like, a world without bees. Your cereal's just simply not as fun. Didn't fix anything.
I think we need to start a foundation.
They said the total number of bees in the United States, we feel it is relatively balanced, but that activity of having to divide colonies is a great amount of pressure on the beekeepers and a tremendous amount of labor. Listen, I don't want to put more stress on the beekeeping community.
No,
It's
ton
on
there
you.
already.
It's on you. I know it's stressful. You got to keep the bees. They're losing bees. Got to keep them.
It's literally their only job.
I'm just confused how like bees are not self-sustainable. Like your bees, just bees.
Yeah, but wasps.
Yeah, they got wasps, Jared.
So we need to kill wasps. Like if wasps don't bring anything to the table, why don't we kill the wasps to save the bees?
Well, we should focus on parent wasps.
Yeah, we can reform. We don't have to go straight to murder. We can reform the wasps.
Yeah.
We like it's more of a. I mean, we need wasp and hornet reform.
Definitely.
They need mentorship. They need guidance. Because then we can keep everyone.
Revive the hive.
Revive the hive.
Everyone wins.
If we revive the hive, then everyone wins.
Everyone wins.
You ever been stung by a bee, Pat?
Several times.
Bee? Well, do you know that it was a bee or could it have been a hornet?
I don't recall ever being stung by a hornet. I do recall being stung by a bee.
What'd you do to it?
I mean, most of the times it was, maybe by accidentally getting too close to the hive, things of that nature.
So it's
I
multiple times.
apologize. I apologize profusely. They just didn't seem to care too much.
No, once that flip switches, there's no
Done.
reasoning with them.
No.
They
I'm
let
running
you
away
know.
saying I'm sorry. Yeah.
They let you know when it's over.
I'm
You
sorry.
don't let
I'm
them.
sorry. Bees, please. I'm sorry. Just no.
Damn.
I dropped a tennis ball. I had these bushes right outside my front door growing up. I dropped a tennis ball by accident in there, and as I reached down to get it, roughly 500 bees came out and just dominated me. Absolutely dominated me. They weren't hearing it. They weren't hearing accident. They knew that they had been attacked. That's all they needed to know.
And you know where that starts though? It starts with the wasp community because they can't afford to play games.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
they
true.
They
If you
can't
stop
guess.
the parent wasps,
Yeah.
if you stop the parent wasps, then maybe some of the bees are like, "Hey, listen, Coley, are you this by accident?" And Coley says, "Yes, of course." And then boom, Problem solved.
Yeah, here's your ball back.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even want to hear him out.
No,
Yeah.
they don't. They can't afford it, Jared.
Can't afford it.
How many times did you get stung in that exchange, Coley?
Wow, had to have been at least 12.
Mm.
They were just all over my hand and arm, and I just like ran around in a circle and then dropped to my knees and just started punching the ground because I didn't know what else to do. You can't be like, fellas, please, you got to fight back. It was a tough experience.
Damn. That does suck. How old were you when this happened?
Probably 9, maybe.
Oh, wow. So it was a little McMahon. I feel like that must have been traumatizing for you.
Wasn't great. I mean, I never went near that bush again.
It's a life lesson.
Big time.
Jake, you ever been stung by a bee before?
Yeah, it's the worst.
What'd you do to it?
I think I just ran after it released itself from my arm.
But what did you do to piss it off?
Oh, probably like eating a popsicle or something when I was like 7.
That pissed it off?
Well, they love popsicles.
Look at this pussy.
So I might have.
I did not realize that that bees love popsicles.
I think they love anything fruity flavored.
That's interesting. I'm fascinated by bees now. I want to save them, even though clearly they've hurt everyone here. But I think it's confusion. I don't think they meant to attack Coley or Jake
No.
or Pat. I only got stung by a bee one time. It was in my hair. I just felt like I had to scratch my head, and I went to go scratch my head, and it fucking stung my finger. But again, I didn't get a look at the guy. It could have been a wasp. It could have been a hornet. It could have been a bee. I don't know which one it was, but it stung me right in my fucking finger. And I think I was just talking about 10 minutes before that how I'd never been stung by a bee before. Then that's what pissed it off.
Yeah, you're talking shit. You thought they were sweet.
Yep. I was daring them to do something, and then they were just like,
Yeah.
And I've never talked shit on a bee since.
Can't.
No. Like I was the episode of what's that? Is it microdosing? Macrodosing? What's it called?
Macrodosing.
It's Arian Foster, right?
Uh-huh.
He was talking about the Rico incident. And he's like, yeah, like there's some people that are about it and there's some people that are not. Like there's some, like if you want to fight someone, you'll just do it. You won't just like walk up and puff your chest and threaten the idea of fighting. And he said Rico wasn't about it. Bees are about it. And so are wasps, and so are hornets.
And spiders.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like tarantulas look the scariest, but I'm pretty sure they're like decently friendly fellas.
Yeah, like people have pet tarantulas that they like let out the fucking cage and walk around like a dog.
Yeah.
I mean, that just seems like a genetic mistake. Like, why wouldn't you make that the most venomous and dangerous spider?
Well, the one that was number one looked tarantula-ish.
But he's definitely not the size of it. I mean, it's like Shaq.
Right.
It's like, how are you going to make this big dude one of the friendliest and nicest guys going? How are you going to do that?
Well, I mean, people don't have problems with us.
I don't know. I wish tarantulas were meaner.
No, but like it raises a question. Like the other 100 or so spiders in that house where someone owns a tarantula, do they view that as a friendly act, or are they just like, we got to get this guy enslaving our pal?
Like I could see like venomous, angry spiders trying to get tarantulas to like heel turn.
Big
Where
time.
it's like, come on, think of what we could accomplish together. It's interesting. Any other Red Sox news?
All of the Red Sox that used to play for the Red Sox now coach for the Nationals.
I saw that. Bill Millar, Coco Crisp. They're heading on over to the Nats.
And I think there's more, like already there.
Yeah, I think they hired someone else. It was like one of like the someone from the Woo Sox. The Nats are just raiding our stash.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I think it's smart.
All I'm saying is if these guys are available and they need jobs in baseball, why aren't the Red Sox hiring them?
I mean, Coco played for enough teams. I don't necessarily view him as a Red Sox.
That's fine. But Bill Millar, come on. I think he got the second he retired, he got a job with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
He's just been like floating around baseball ever since, but everyone loves him.
Yeah.
I'd love to get Bill Millar on here. Guy won a batting title, 326, 2003.
He's probably the most important Red Sox player in the history of the franchise that we talk about the least.
Yeah, maybe. Like you could make that case for a lot of guys in that team, though, like their origin stories. Like Mark Bellhorn. Like you don't win without Mark Bellhorn. You don't win without Kevin Millar. You don't win without Bill Millar.
But we talk about Kevin Millar all the time.
Yeah.
And he was, I don't want to offend anyone, worse than Bill Millar, just at baseball. So it's like his level, I'd say their level of importance to that specific championship, probably pretty even. But Bill Millar's overall talent, like we said, batting title, that game against Texas, stuff like that, like made him better. Like he gets referenced the least. Even this episode where we were talking to Wakefield, you didn't bring up Bill Millar, you brought up Mike Lowell. I feel like a lot of people have a higher opinion of Mike Lowell than they do of Bill Millar, and I don't know that should be the case. And I love Mike Lowell. It's not a shot at Mike Lowell.
Mike Lowell was World Series MVP.
Sure.
And in 2007, I believe he set the Red Sox single-season record for most runs batted in by a Red Sox third baseman. He drove in like 100 and Boggs, I think.
Oh, true. Yeah.
I think he drove in like 120 runs that year.
Yeah, no, he's a monster. Don't get me wrong. But I think shut the fuck up. We definitely talk about Lowell more than we talk about Bill Millar, and Bill Millar was a monster.
I think both were great. Pat, who's your favorite Red Sox player of all time?
Me.
That's fair.
Gotta love yourself.
You have to love yourself.
Have to love yourself. Mental health.
That's right. What memorabilia do you have from your Red Sox? Because didn't we say that like you have like the scorecard from your debut?
Scorecard. Oh, I can't do it from the mic. Scorecard. First strikeout. I think it was the last pitch of my debut. I don't think I have the first pitch. And then jersey and glove from my debut. I think that's it.
Did you frame the jersey?
Yes, jersey, ball, glove, all framed in the same frame. the scorecard the Red Sox frame for you.
Hmm.
And then the first strikeout is in like a little box on I have a bar in my room, which is fits, par for the course. But
You have a bar
it's
in
like
your
a
bedroom?
like a little mini bar when you walk in. You get to get it. You can
In
stop
your bedroom.
Yeah, you walk in right on the left. There's a tray with a bunch of nice glasses. Then there's some things there, including my first strikeout ball. Then there's 3 glass. I don't know if they call them decanters because I thought you only decant wine, but they're like 3 things you hold things in, and one has vodka, one has bourbon, one has scotch. So if you were to come in, like for example, if I were to bring a nice young lady, we weren't done drinking for the evening, we wanted to have some fun, I'll throw some Sinatra on, and listen, what drink can I pour you?
Love that.
Really sets the tone for the evening.
Yeah, I can see I can see that.
Yeah.
See how that's it's thoughtful.
Very thoughtful.
I think it's very it's adult.
Yeah, it is.
Like if a nice young lady came to my apartment, they'd be like, nice poster of yourself. Be like, which one? I mean, shit. Sometimes I'm a memorabilia guy. I like to remember the good times.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Like that's actually I just purchased a very large movie poster from the original Halloween that I'm going to be hanging in my apartment, and then I was excited to buy it. It's on the way. I'm getting it. I think it's coming today. I think it's arriving today. But then I thought about it and I was like, oh, like back in the game, single, what if I were to bring a lady friend to my apartment? You think that would be weird? Like if you walked into an apartment of someone that like, it's like you just started hanging out and then you're like, this dude has like Michael Myers on his wall. I don't know. Like maybe some girls are into that. I don't know. But I feel like could be potentially alarming.
You know what it is though?
What?
Phenomenal conversational topic.
It is.
And boom, you can get into it. You're a very funny man. You're very charismatic, charming. You can twist that. No problem. Not for a veteran like yourself. That's not going to be an issue. If you had something like Barney or something, okay,
it's a little weird.
Yeah, I don't think you're talking your way out of that. That's going to be no. But the other thing is, if they're at your place, the decisions has been made.
True. You walked into the cage.
Boom, you're here. We're excited for it.
We're excited. Thank you for coming.
Yep.
I just bought some drinking glasses myself. Got some whiskey glasses.
Good. What kind of whiskey do they have a design on it, or it's just straight glass?
Just straight glass.
Straight glass. I actually prefer the straight glass look.
Yeah. And I got those like it's basically the same shape as this. Okay. It's like long. It's but glasses.
Of course.
The long cylinder.
The long cylinder look. You can that particular glass. So I have the shorter ones. That particular glass you have there you can really hold any type of drink in.
Right. So that's what I make my vodka lemonades in now.
Oh, you're a big vodka lemonade guy.
Yeah. So I bought the ice machine. Have this ice machine. I bought the plastic straws. I bought the lemonade mix. I bought a 90-ounce pitcher to make the lemonade in. Wooden spoon. Whole to do. Bought the glass set. I was like, I'm ready to roll.
Rock and roll.
Yeah. Might have a little shindig at my place.
I think that sounds lovely.
I'd love, you know what? I'd love for you to be there.
Hope I can make it.
I bet you can.
I probably could.
Yeah. I mean, you, in theory, you make your own schedule, right?
In theory. Things pop up. But as far as like working at the bar, I retired from that.
You don't work at the bar?
No. Like
so you're like Vince McMahon. You've like stepped back.
Like I'm the president, but like
you're the Dana White of Green Rock.
Yeah.
And you're not also Conor McGregor anymore.
I'm not Conor McGregor anymore, no.
But it used to be.
Used to be, yeah.
Was that your decision?
Oh yeah.
You just didn't want to be out there.
No, I never enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the people when I first bought in, people had to convince me to do it. Not really my scene.
Yeah.
People want to
Being in
fight
a bar?
you. Yeah. Because I don't, you know me, I don't wear like green rock clothing to make me look like I'm working.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's just some large gentleman pushing his way through the crowd because he's pissed that everyone sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And then people get all, pissy, which, I get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
It's the whole thing.
It's the whole thing. Now I go in, I go with my fun friends, and I sit at a table, and I'm not bothered.
I'd like to return to Green Rock soon.
You should. The move now, as we get older, is McSwilbo's, and then you go to Green Rock for like an hour and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't, because Green Rock for 4.5 hours is just a lot. It's great for
Right.
like a 22, 23-year-old single guy, single girl.
Right. That's not us.
That's not us. No, we go to McSwilbo's. We enjoy ourselves. We're able to talk for a little while.
We go to Big Sam's for dinner first.
Big Sam's for dinner, then McSwilbo's, and then Green Rock. Yeah.
Ugh, I can't wait to go to Big Sam's again.
Big Sam's, and Big Sam misses you. He told me to say hello to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Tell him I said, I'm very excited to return, and keep up the great work, because obviously, people are loving it over there.
People are absolutely loving Big Sam's sushi place.
Yeah. What color is the Big Sam T-shirt?
The one that Big Sam wears, or the ones that you guys are talking about making?
Both.
Oh, okay. Well, the one that Big Sam wears is, as you always know, it's a nice magenta. You knew that.
Yeah.
You can't forget Big Sam.
Right.
And then for the one that we're going to make, I think it's still up for discussion. I mean, we could go the magenta look, because, who doesn't like when you see Big Sam that magenta, your face smiles, your face smiles. Yeah. And it's
your
just,
face smiles.
Face smiles. And it's just it's a great time. So, but we can go really any direction. Big Sam's open for discussion.
Yeah. I feel like when I picture Big Sam's, I picture like a soft, like baby blue.
I like that. Because he is, he's a nice, soft man.
He's a soft man.
Soft man. Just a great, genuine human being.
Right. Incredible. All right. Jake, is there anything else that we missed?
I definitely hit all of my points, I think.
Because one was Tim today. We wanted to get that in. Then number 2 was Big Sam. We hit Big Sam quite a bit.
Hit Big Sam. I mean, the fucking bee discussion today was top notch.
Yes, it was.
Like, name another baseball podcast that's breaking down bees, spiders, hornets, and wasps for probably an hour combined, maybe more.
With an emphasis on parent wasps. No one hits that point.
No one's talking about like it starts at home.
Yeah, starts at home.
I can't wait to do the timestamps later and do 20 minutes on bees and then 30 minutes on spiders.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
Big Sam's sushi. All right. I don't know where Coley went.
No. I think every time he leaves, we talk about Big Sam.
We do?
I'm pretty sure. I remember last time he came back and he said, "What are we talking about?" And you're like, Big Sam. Again? Okay.
All right. Well, thank you to Tim Wakefield for joining us. And actually, let's see.
We should just leave, by the way, and end the podcast. So when he comes back,
he's just like, I don't even think he'd care. He'd just be like, all right, cool. Let's see. Is this person? Oh, he's not. Interesting. Wow. I was going to say, so someone reached out. I was talking to them the other day about wanting to come on the podcast. And he was like, yeah, just let me know. And I was like, okay, I will. I was like, we have Tim Wakefield on this upcoming week. But if you want to do the week after. And he was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And I was about to say, it's another week of a Red Sox Hall of Famer. I just look, he's not in the Red Sox Hall of Fame, but he 1000% should be. He is a Red Sox Hall of Famer. The fact that he's not in now means that he will get in sometime within the next I don't know, 5 years.
Mhm.
He's a Red Sox Hall of Famer, future.
Mm.
Put my life on that.
Mm.
So we'll see if he comes on next week. He's not necessarily a hard guy to track down, but yeah, there's a couple guys. There's actually, I don't know how we're gonna do this because he is. Let me Google. This is not the same person that I'm talking about. This is someone else whose number I got. He's 78 years old. Will by far be the oldest guest in Section 10 history, but he said he's down.
Love it.
I would imagine he's also he is. He is a Red Sox Hall of Famer. But this gentleman also said, yeah, would love to do the podcast. It would be his first time. And he would 1000% be the oldest guest ever on Section 10. That one will be cool. I want to do that one in person. So maybe you will I gotta get Jake to my apartment. I want to take this room here and turn it into like Joe Rogan's studio, so to speak. Like I like doing the green screen for the podcast, but I also want to like make a set in here for like if we have a guest in here. Like I feel like that would be cool as well. Boom. That's why Jake's the man.
Boom.
That's why he's the best. All right. Hopefully next time we meet, maybe we have more news on the lockout, where that's at. I would say I'm not full Coley.
Can't hear you yet.
Oh.
Yep.
No, he can hear. Right?
No,
Nope. Nah, he can hear. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Cole.
Hello.
We were just about to leave.
I figured.
Yeah. I was teasing a guest for next week. Potentially. Should be a Red Sox Hall of Famer. Isn't yet, surprisingly. I could have sworn he was. And then there's another guest who I got their number. He is a Red Sox Hall of Famer. And he would unequivocally be the oldest guest in Section 10 history. He's 78 years old.
Okay.
But I feel like that's one that we're going to want to do in person. If you wanted to come down from Antarctica.
Antarctica's at the bottom.
All right. Any final thoughts?
I mean, yeah, you didn't even say the guy I thought you were going to say when you gave your wish list.
Well, I didn't finish it. I think we just got off on a tangent. Who did you think I was going to say?
Clemens.
Oh, yeah. Clemens is on there. Raquel is on there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to finish it. I was just like typing it out, and then I was just like, all right, I'm not even going to continue to work on this. It's just bad timing.
Is trying to think. Yeah, I mean, there's a guy who's 62, still alive, Red Sox legend. I would love to have on
Fred Lynn?
Freddie, but no,
Do we?
you're not even close.
That's what I was going to say.
I have Dwight Evans' phone number. And Fred Lynn followed me on Twitter. So I feel like we could probably get those guys.
Dewey is the guy that announced me drafted for the Red Sox.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
Smooth operator.
Great guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was very nervous because he didn't know if he could pronounce Monmouth.
Ah. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking a former Red Sox player who's 62?
Mm-hmm. Pitcher.
All right, let me 62 minus let's call it 25. So 37 years ago, he was 25. So 2022 minus 37. So so he was from the 1986 World Series team. Yeah.
He was on that team. Yeah.
Bruce Hurst.
Nope.
Oil Can Boyd. Oil Can. I feel like I want to say I've interviewed him before, but he was just all over the place.
Yeah, that's why I want to do it. I feel like he'd be very much all over the place.
Yeah. That's crazy that I did that math equation and just drilled it. That we need Bill Lee as well. I interviewed Bill Lee a long time ago. It was not for Section 10. And it's as trippy as you would think it would be. But Bill Lee is a guy that we absolutely need to have on this podcast.
Definitely.
I'll work on it. Because Bill Lee would thrive on this show for the tangents that we go on that have nothing to do with baseball. He would have loved the Hornet conversation.
Oh, for sure. 1,000%.
Yeah. I don't even want to talk to Bill about baseball.
No.
No. There's so many things that I want to talk about with Bill Lee that have nothing to do with baseball. So I'll get working on that. That's Bill. Bill isn't difficult to get on because he doesn't like to do stuff like this. Bill is difficult to get on because he's always moving, so you just never know. There's no way he owns a cell phone.
No.
It's you got to get him on the landline that he's closest to at that point. It's luck of the draw. So, all right. We'll see you next week.
Buenas noches, amigos.